Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I was trying something new out and I failed horribly on it. I was trying to do the 30-second countdown. I guess I forgot to hit the live button. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Derek, for saying saying I was monitoring. So at any case, welcome everybody, and I want to say hi to everybody. And so Wigwag, he was in here first. Thank you for being here. And then Dwight Curley, hello. I believe you were here second. So let's see who's all in the chat. So let me go back down and scroll because I totally messed up. Trackside
Uh,
Mike, hello, good evening. John Benicki, good
Mike.
evening. We got Peyton Taylor in the house, or Peyton, no, Peyton Railfan, excuse me. We got John, and we've got Derek Alexander. Hello, Derek. And, and I believe that's what we've got right now. Yeah. All right. Well, again, welcome to a Cab Crew Wednesday, guys. Thank you for being here. And again, I was kind of a little late. I just had enough time to change in out of my work shirt and into a nice red, soothing color. Good evening, Artie. How you doing, buddy? And we've got Tom's NS layout. Welcome, Tom. Thank you for coming out tonight. So we
Hey,
got Lee.
everybody.
We got Lee from Anfield. Welcome, Lee. So, Dave, how you been?
I'm good, man. Good. Nice long weekend coming up. Before we get some more done on this layout. Uh, more with the bench work. Um, we'll see. I'm doing good. I ended up having to work Sunday, so I ended up with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then like a half a day today. So I got Friday off, so that's kind of nice. I
Oh,
have a long weekend. Must be
yeah,
nice too. Took that half a day today and got all my leaves raked up and everything. Until I wake up in the morning and the more's on the ground,
yeah,
it seems like no matter how many you rake, there's still more to go. But good though.
cool. Get
Good.
anything done on your layout?
Not much. Like I said, was it last weekend? The last week when I was off a few days, I said we got all the plywood cut and the fascia. Everything's cut. And my garage pretty much cleaned out. It was supposed to be when my daughter moved that dresser that's been in my garage. She's been working on. She finally got that finished. So I'm going to be moving that hopefully Sunday. Move that into her apartment, and so that I can finish cleaning out the garage for winter. Get the car in there. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's good. Hello, B and B Railroad. Welcome, Corey, too, as well. Thank you for being here. Um, so, Dave, I heard you're going to a show this weekend.
I am actually.
You want to talk about that?
There's the culprit. I've been sitting here trying to figure out what CV number was the number to turn this master volume down. Damn locomotives because it's so loud. Yeah, it's actually just a. Oh damn it! I did it. It's a small show just here up the street from me, about I don't know, maybe 5 miles away. It's just a one-day show. It's Saturday. It's I'm actually gonna take some stuff to sell it. I paid for a table to go and set up, and try to sell some of this intermodal stuff and things like that. Things I'm not using. What I don't sell there, I might list or offer up, on here or whatever. But should be fun. My cousin's kind of involved with like O scalers and that, but he's friends with a bunch of guys with the National Model Railroad Association in the area. So this is a show that's kind of not really associated with that, but kind of just because some of the guys that are in it are part of that. But should be a good time. See if there's any deals to be had. But mainly, I'm just trying to. I don't really want to buy anything. I want to sell what I can sell. I'm trying to, make room. There's things that I'm not using. If I can
Right.
sell them, I will. It's just if I can sell them there, I don't have to mess around with shipping things and you know haggling over prices and that. I just get them going. That's my hope. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
it's a pretty good
George
show.
from
I've missed it the past
Railroad
couple of
Dog.
years.
So now this, what was the name of the show you're going to?
It is called. Hang on. I got the flyer somewhere around here.
Hey, Anthony from Georgia Sunbelt. Good evening. Mystic Railroad. John. Good evening. Welcome. And again, George from FL Railroad Dog. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
It's called the Nets Model Railroad Show, NETS, Northeastern. I don't know what that stands for, though. I thought it was on here.
Okay, I've got someone in.
Northeast Train Society.
No, what's it called again?
Northeast Train Society.
Oh.
It's, like a founding member that had passed away a few years ago, so they kind of do it in memory of this guy.
Yeah.
So it's just not bad. You probably can't read that. It's just there's the guy
Yeah, I
there.
can kind of see that. Yeah. Welcome, Lee.
It is very
hello,
short.
Daryl.
Hi, Lee.
It's a pleasure to be up on this one for a change. I was just a loose end. I was still in front of the workbench. I was just about to. I seen you gone live, so I thought I'll come up. I was going to go off, but I thought I'll make myself appearance.
Hey, Cerna Junior Lewis. Good evening. Good evening, Heath. It's the D&D model citizens. Okay. Again, welcome, Heath. Thank you for being here. Santa Fe Bob. Hello. It's been a
Hello,
minute.
Bob. Hello, Mystic.
Yeah.
It's nice to see everyone.
Well, thank you for coming aboard, Lee. What time in the morning is it there across the pond?
12 o'clock at night.
Oh, 12 o'clock at night? Wow.
It's not that bad at the moment because our clocks have only just gone back. So it's not that much of a time difference at the moment. But when yours do on Sunday, it'll be longer.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad at the moment.
Hello, Dwayne Fork and Spoon. Thank you for being here this evening.
Hey,
Awesome Bayou.
Hey,
Good evening.
Ah,
Plumber number
Plumber's in.
33. Good evening. Hey, Plumber. I was kind of taken back today when I saw you on the Turntable Fly channel. I'm on his channel quite a bit. He does some really cool live rail fanning in Colorado. So it was kind of a neat surprise to see somebody from our circle, out there and about. So Kyle Stevens, welcome. So,
hello, Kyle.
So I just did want to say, yes, I did finally change sceneries. What's behind me?
I like it.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah.
Do you like that
Sunnyside Rail. Good evening. Yeah, I for 4 months, my layout's in a garage. I'm in Southern California, so it's been, anywhere from 95 over 100 in the garage. And for me just to move, and it was just, even just standing in the garage was just horrible. So actually the weather has cooled down enough for me to kind of make some mess go away and actually live stream from a different angle. And so far, I've got a lot of nice comments on live streaming from this area. And I appreciate that. I really, really do. I really appreciate it. So, and thank you. Hey, Jason, the Train Freak Rail Fanning Productions. I didn't see that one. What did
Hi,
he say?
Anthony Sunbelt. George Sunbelt.
What's up, Anthony?
Kyle.
Had everybody in the chat, actually.
Still waiting to see when Daryl is going to do my scenery for me.
I'm like that with the scene I'm working on at the moment. I'm doing a load of scratch building for a competition I'm involved in. I've still got a good 4 or 5 weeks on it, and I just seem to be getting nowhere with it. It'll get there.
Hey, John, thank you for being here. Sorry that I may have missed you. Welcome, John. So yeah, so I decided to change sceneries, and I think it's for the better. It's it's something completely different. I actually have a few places I can actually live stream with a background in it, and so I'm kind of glad that I kind of changed sceneries. So, and actually, now that I'm in winter season, I can actually do some builds live. I was trying to get that ready for tonight, but the problem is the piece that I had is like 45 inches long, and I couldn't get the camera angle right to put it up and build the camera angle. I was only getting half of it. So, and actually, this is a build for a friend of mine, and he wanted something that he can hang up on the wall and be able just to listen to his locomotives with some really nice scenery that is, instead of his locomotive sitting in the case, you can take one or two out and set it on the track and just let it run for, a few or, 3 or 4 more inches and just listen to it run and ding and, listen to it idle. So I'm going to have to get something that's a little bit smaller so I can actually you could see it in the camera while I'm doing it. So, but anyways, so Lee, what are you up to, Lee?
Well, I have actually just put a video out. That's how come I'm up so late. I've just recently uploaded a video. It went out at 12 o'clock at my time.
Cool.
Well, that's cool.
It's not the one I wanted to put up. It's just I went to my local shop to go and buy some supplies.
That's nice, BB.
So I thought I'll put the video out.
Well, that's cool, B&B Railroad.
Yeah, it's gone out. The video has gone out.
Yeah. Hey, Jean Ricard.
It was what I got to help me with the hobby.
Yeah. So Jean Ricard says, it's nice with the mountain, Daryl, but I miss the mirror.
It is. Those mountains are nice. It's nice to see people with layouts with the mountain. I like Dave's with the mountains. This layout has got no mountains on it. The loft layout that I am working on. That's why there's not many videos coming out of this layout. I've got one more video to come out of a scenery version on it. Then I've got a section of rebuilding on the original layout in the loft. I'm doing some new bench work.
I haven't seen much of that layout in a while.
I know, that's the original layout that started my channel. But it's been too hot up there, and one of my boards actually warped, and I've had to rip the board down, and I've got to rebuild it. But the worst thing is, I'm not happy. It's a board that had full scenery on it.
Oh, man.
It was literally from where my cattle market was right the way down a good 4-foot section. The board had completely warped. So the whole board is had to rip up, and I'm having to put new baseboard in. So that's taken the time. All the track had to get ripped up. I've salvaged some of the track, but not all of it. The heat's got
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hi,
That's
Stormy
nice.
Sky. Thank you and welcome for being here. So I just recently ran into a few people who said they're just having a hard time getting cork. I don't know. Has anybody heard that?
Somebody else just said that. I heard somebody say that. I haven't tried to get any cork myself, so I don't know. I've heard the same thing.
It's no problem, Daryl, to Anthony. I know, I can't understand that, Anthony. I know YouTube are messing around with a lot of people, like. I saw.
Yeah, Mystic.
Mystic.
Something wrong with that guy, man.
Yeah, I've got the two of them in here. I've got Mystic and Derek Alexander. Those
Yeah.
two are funny. Right along with you, Jason. You come up with some good ones too.
Jason,
But
Jason,
that was pretty. That was pretty good.
Jason does come up with some good stuff,
Yeah.
good things, doesn't he?
So Jason says someone told me that when I scored the cork from Joe Rader. That's cool. Well, there you go.
Well, you might be able to
Hello.
find cork sheets. Go on like Amazon and might be able to find sheet cork, or I have rolled cork I got from like Michael's. I use that in my yard. It's
Yeah,
about this.
that's what
It's
I've
almost.
got. I've just bought some roll cork today on the roll from my model shop. That's
Yeah.
for when I've got to finish the baseboard yet.
The roll's kind of a pain because it's rolled, and then you got to be careful when you unroll it so it don't crack.
Yeah,
And
and the other thing as well, you have to put weights on it when you glue it down to keep it straight. It's a pain.
Yeah. So like, hey James. Hi to
Hey,
everybody
James.
in the chat, guys. I didn't say hi to everyone individually.
Yeah.
Just hi.
Yeah, I got off to a rocky start, but I'm glad Derek said
Um,
something. I'm going to have to look into that one. Good evening, Lehigh River Subdivision. Hi, Ian. Welcome for
So,
being here. Mom and Sons Rail fan. Good evening. And again, happy birthday, Ray. I hope you got everything that you were looking for.
oh yeah, happy birthday. Oh, that was your birthday. What's that part? Um, yeah, who just was doing the layout? Lumberton Valley Railroad just bought I think off of Amazon a box with a bunch of sheet cork in it. I don't know how thick it was. You could get it in different thicknesses. I don't know what he paid for it, but you could buy it in bulk in quantity, and you would have to cut it, you know. But that's probably what I'm gonna look at for my yards and stuff. There's no sense of wasting roadbed. Of course, I do have some roadbed that I salvaged that I haven't used much of yet. I still have some new roadbed left. It is going to be for the second level, but I actually thinking of doing some modifications. I have to get with Drain Freak because he's did some modifications already, but I might go to a double main line on the second level. I'm kind of bumming I don't have a double main on the first level. Is it necessary? Not really, but I do like to be able to run two different trains at the same time and just kind of rail fan that way.
Yeah.
So I may, at least on the second level, because I haven't built anything up there yet track wise. So I might go ahead and bite the bullet and do it up there. So
Yeah.
we'll
Now,
see.
an interesting fact about cork for me. None of my cork is HO scale. I don't use HO scale cork for my layout. I actually use N scale cork for my layout. Yeah. Yep.
I've heard of guys using
I don't
N
even
scale
use on this
for.
layout. I've not got cork on it. My track bed on this layout is what you have under laminate flooring.
Yeah, so there's a question for the chat. Okay, so who uses what for cork? Because I've heard of many different versions. I hear some people make their own cork. A lot of people use homosode. A lot of people use the regular cork. Everybody uses different things, but I'm just kind of curious. What does everybody use for cork? Me, I'm HO scale. I use N scale cork. So there you go.
I'm double O, and my cork bed is actually I got a roll of the laminate floor. You know that spongy stuff you put under your laminate floor. I got a roll of that, and I put that on my truck as me. I cut it into into pieces and put it in places, and I love using it because it's ideal. When I built this layout, I just put it on the board all over it, was able to draw on it where my tracks were going, and where my tracks went, and I was putting scenery, I just cut that all out and done the scenery where it was, the plaster mould. And that's the way I've done it, and it looks good.
Yeah.
I've seen where guys have used N scale cork, or HO scale on the main line, but N scale for sidings. Just so it's like setting, the siding usually is lower. But I use, same here, Jason. I use the Midwest cork. And then in the yards, I use sheets. Yucca board also, aka Manxonite. Okay, yeah, that's the same stuff that we use for like putting up our backdrops and our fascia and stuff, right? That's what you use for roads and stuff, isn't it, Daryl? That hardboard? Masonite?
No, that's what I use. That's what I use for my roadways. That's what I use for my parking lots and everything. I use the hardboard that you would line your valence with. We lost you there for a little bit. Yeah, and it's worked out really good. Because I would much rather put my own creases in instead of just having to put together, pieces and stuff. It's just what I've always used. So
yeah, I might give it a try. Actually, I have plenty of that stuff laying around.
And Jason says it depends. I use Midwest cork. That's the cork that I use, but I just use it for N scale. For my main line in industrial areas, I use cork sheets rolled from Hobby Lobby. Okay, there's two guys that said from Hobby Lobby. If you're using sheet cork, you have to sand down the Midwest cork. Yeah.
Well, you get that Hobby Lobby. I think I got mine at Michael's because I have a Michael's around the corner. It's closer than Hobby Lobby, but I've seen it at Hobby Lobby too. And it's different thicknesses. You got to kind of look at it. The one I have is right.
You can see my cork that I use. There's my tracks, and I've got that spongy cut. I've got that it's like spongy. What's on the laminate flooring?
I think I missed somebody coming in.
I don't think you have to, Curly, but maybe Jason would know, or Daryl. Daryl uses electric frogs, though. I don't think you need to do that on the Ansel frogs.
No, I don't think so either, Dwight. But Jason would most definitely know. But yeah, I don't remember ever using insulated rail joiners on a frog that is insulated. So
I've never used insulated joiners on a frog that's already insulated.
Yeah, see, Anthony, that's what I use for my roads and parking lots is the Silly Winks foam sheets.
Right.
Now, that candy factory that I built, I took Daryl's advice on that. What do you call them, tilt-up concrete building? Back there, if you can see it back over my shoulder. That's masonite. And just cut the size. And I made a background building out of that. It looks like that concrete walled building. They tilt them up. They're just concrete formed walls.
Yeah.
So That's another
Yeah.
use for it. It worked out really nice.
Yeah.
Save a lot
I,
of money on that on the plastic kits. Depending how
right.
fancy you want to get with it, you know. If you want to do well, I put some brick on it. Actually, I had some brick sheet. Put some brick at the base of the one building. I put some corrugated at the top, but I used that masonite as the base for it. Anyways, you know. So anyway, sorry, no, I know you were trying to say
No, no,
something. I
no.
cut you
It's
off there.
okay. I saw somebody come in and I don't remember who it was. And then I saw it was Randall Ellison.
Hi, Randall. Thomas
Evening,
Grassi has a
Randall.
good point. I've seen guys use that too. It's more of a foam road bed.
Yeah. No,
So,
I mean, if I can get foam in a really thin, I would use the foam. Absolutely. But
Jason, there's a three-way insule frog. Curly wants to know: do you need to use insulated joiners, rail joiners on those for the three-way? I don't know if they're Pico or what. I guess they're Pico. He said they're insule frog. I figured you might know. I don't. I said I don't think you need it for insule frogs, but maybe you do. I don't know. I have two of them. I have to know the answer to this too because I'm going to need to use those at some point on the second level. Hey, Burris.
hey, Burris, good evening and welcome.
Burris.
Yeah. So I mean, and you know, I really the technique that I use for well, that I use the hardboard. I really didn't get it from anybody. I had so much of it, and I thought, hey, I could probably do a whole parking lot. I can put the building underneath of it. I don't have to buy, you know, I don't have to pour it or anything like that. And it'll take the paint. I can stripe it, and then I can, give it lines in it any which way I want and scribe it the way I want, and I can give it potholes the way I want, and
Yeah.
et cetera. You know, just add the details as I go along, and it's worked out really well. I even use it for my grade crossings, and actually, now that this comes to mind, I actually saw one of Jason's, the Train Freak video. I noticed that he does the same thing on his layout. He uses the hardboard. I saw it that he used it on a grade crossing, and it works really well. Thank you for all of that.
I
Yeah. Now
actually,
the N scale cork fits perfectly with the HO scale, so I can make my own beveled roadway for it. I don't have to follow that line, and that's what's nice about using the N scale. And generally, what I'll do is sometimes I'll just double the cork on the main line, just to give it a little bit more height. But that's the reason why I don't use HO scale, because there's a word I'm looking for. It's pretty straightforward, but I don't like my roadbed to look so straight, if you understand what I'm saying. I like to give them a little bit more curvature, and and so
my road beds, my actual roads on my layout are the best ones, Daryl. I've got my camera over on me where my road beds are. I use card for my road bed.
Yeah,
yeah.
card stock.
Yeah, black card. I'll change my camera. I've got the camera set above it.
Yeah. Hey, Curly, Jason says you should not need any
There we go.
insulated rail
Yeah, let
joiners.
me, Jason. I mean, Lee. Let me make you big so we can we can see you. Okay, there you go.
Let me get my pointer. Bear with me. Yeah, this road stop. This is black card here, and I've actually got
Okay.
and I've got plans. It needs wiping because I've been working on the layout. I'm going to wipe it, and I'm going to put road markings in. And I've got a way on doing road markings. I'm going to use the sticky labels. I'm going to cut them and make road markings with them. It's like That zebra crossing there, that's made out of black and white. Black card and white stickers. That's how I've made the zebra crossings. I've been working on a lot of things on it. I'm working on this project at the moment. This is a bridge scene I'm working on at the moment. It takes time. A layout is never finished. You always add into it.
No, it's never finished, Lee.
I've recently, I'm on big. I'll give a bit of a crawl. As you can see in the background, I'm with it. I'm actually working in the distance. Let me move.
Hello, John Arthur. Good evening.
I've got me cafe and me Jeanette's bakery and Chris Pickering's drone shop. That's friends of mine that are YouTubers. Their shop, and that hasn't been put into place yet. It has got to go into place there. And then I've got the lift out, but there's a piece that goes in that's got a garage on it. That is another friend's YouTube channel, Park Messer's Garage, that goes in the lift out. But I like having that lift out because before I had that lift out, I could not clean the track at the other end. I found it hard to try and clean track, but now I can clean the track a lot better. I've got a lot going on with the layout recently. I've done a lot of work on it.
Yeah, no, Lee, it's very good, and I can see that center section that you cut out's worked very well for you because you can get in there.
Yeah, I can get either side of the layout and everything. I'm loving it. When I'm not working on the layout and I'm running trains, because I am working on a running session video at the moment. I've got a running session video that I put together. I'm just going to edit it, and it's just taking time to edit. Because you know what it's like editing. It can be a pain. Editing videos, but I'll get there with it. But it's like, let's see if I can do it. There we go. Oh, you can't see it because I'm on the wrong camera. Let's see if I can change because I've got the lights on. This looks brilliant and it's dark. I may change the camera angle in a minute. Take me off big a minute, and I'm going to change camera angle, and I'll put this in dark. You'll see how light this layout is.
Okay, when you're ready, I'm going to bring.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to turn camera off so I can set it up.
So Dave, what are you going to be selling? Is it anything really good?
It's a bunch of 48-foot containers and well cars, stuff like that. I think what else I have up there. Some scenery items, just stuff that I'm not going to use.
Yeah. Good evening,
old buildings and stuff. I may not sell any of it. I'm going to take it. We'll see who buys it.
Yeah.
But I said I would just offer it up here, honestly. But if I could sell it this way, it'd save me all the messing around with packaging, shipping, all that stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, John. Oh man, I remember algebra, John. I actually used to like algebra, man. Now, geometry I was bad at, and then trigonometry, that was a no-go either. But algebra I kind of like. It's kind of fun. Once you get it, it's kind of fun. Some math can be fun, I think.
There we go, Daryl.
Okay, let me bring you up solo.
That is, well, camera's just moved.
Anthony Dodge. Hey, Artie, I didn't say hi to you, man.
Yeah, there's my train shed, all lit up.
Yeah, Artie's kind of quiet tonight.
He said he's done with these computer problems.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
My wife was able.
Daryl, I'm gonna have to go because I'm getting shouted.
Okay. All right, Lee. Okay, Lee. I hear you. Okay, Lee. Thanks for coming up. I really appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, Lee.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Anthony, I will. Yeah, he sounded like somebody didn't sound too happy.
Yeah, no, I can hear in the background.
Yeah, man. Hey, John, Trig was like an elective in high school. I didn't have to take it, so I kind of tried it, and I was able to like drop it without messing my credits up for graduation and stuff. I didn't need it for graduation. I just thought it might be fun, and it wasn't. So I think I took another study hall or something. I don't remember now. It was 30 some years ago.
Yeah, math was never my stronghold.
Yeah. Mine either, but I don't know. It was that or more French or language, and they had a shit ton of that. I still can't speak any of that. I should have took Spanish, what I was thinking. But I don't know. But yeah, I was gonna say something. I don't remember now. Nothing important apparently. So.
Well,
I've been doing too much.
Well, it sounds like you've been working a lot there, Dave. So let me see here.
This is our busy time of year. Everybody has met their deductibles for their insurance, and they're getting a lot of their elective surgeries done. So, like from now through the end of the year, we're going to be rocking and rolling. We're doing 60, 70 cases a day. Not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just busy. You come home and you were working. They only work 3 days a week, but they've been offering premium pay, so I've been trying to do the math. Instead of speaking of math, to where you don't pick up too many hours to put you in a higher tax bracket, and you don't see any of it or barely any of it. I got to figure it out. If I pick up about 4 hours a week extra, I'll be pretty golden there.
Right.
So I've been doing that, And then it's working out okay.
Hey guys.
Hey. Thomas, hey Randall.
I'm getting a full.
Doing pretty good. I'm on the way back from Memphis right now.
Oh man, look at this.
Who's that
All
guy?
of a sudden, there goes the neighborhood. What the hell are you bring Artie up here for?
Is this a beard contest?
Yeah. I'll be getting mine going now. It's November, so I get the.
Wow, Jason, look at that beard, my friend. Look at that thing, man. What do you feed that thing?
Miracle Grow.
Wow.
Miracle Grow. Yeah.
It's that Cheetah Pet stuff. You put it on his face and it just starts growing.
Hey, Artie, Thomas, Randall, good evening.
Put some of that on Artie's head, man. That'd be funny. That could have been a good costume, Artie. Although you did have a good one the other night.
Well, he's going to have to fight Heath over it because Heath has been begging for it.
For what?
For my beard hair for his head.
Oh, his beard hair. Okay. Yeah, that's a little weird. John Arthur, so I'm clean shaven at the moment. Yeah.
So
yeah,
Jason,
I'm going to grow mine for the winter again.
Jason, what do you got going on?
I finally talked to my client, so I'm going to try to finish this thing up.
Here, you want me to?
So what did he want?
You ain't got to make me over.
Okay.
Yeah, what did he want you to do, Jason?
Okay. I don't know if y'all can see that very well or not. I'm on my phone, so it's a little different.
Okay.
But these are
bring it up big, girl.
Yeah, I'm going to just bring you up big because it's kind of blurry. I think we'll have a better. There we go, Jason.
Oh, yeah, it's probably what I'm doing. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So these are the headlight inserts that came out of the shell, and I literally had to cut this much off of it because the speakers wouldn't fit. So what I ended up doing is, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but I glued a LED inside that.
Yeah. That's what I had to do with my Katos too.
Oh, okay.
Because they had those long light tubes.
Yeah, so I glued those earlier, and now they're dried. So now it's time to take these LEDs off and get those wired in and get those glued back into the shell, and then put speakers on it. So that's what I'm working on tonight.
So now you'll be able to get both speakers in, right? You were saying the other time that you only can get one in, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, they'll both fit now.
Good.
That's pretty cool, Jason.
So I'm trying to get caught up. I'm so far behind, it's unreal.
Yeah, that sounds like
Yeah,
everybody.
I was going to ask you to add something to your list for me, but it's okay. You get a lot on your plate. Maybe you get caught up eventually. I'll hit you up for some work.
Right now, I'm sitting on about 30 locomotives to work on. And it's not all people within our community. It's people who have reached out to me via the my website. So,
yeah. I just got to get with you because I got to see if you can help me figure out what I did wrong on this thing when I wired it up. But we'll talk.
well, I could do that. That's easy.
Yeah, we'll talk. It was working great till I tried to do the lights, and I don't know if I blew something up or what, but we'll talk.
Okay, well, just let me know when.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did 3, and then they don't work anymore. So I got to troubleshoot them.
Yeah, I had it running good. Sound was working. Keep Alive was in it. Went to hook the lights up, and I don't know if I did too much on the board or what, but I think I might have blew the decoder up. I don't know.
And see, y'all might think I'm crazy, but like I'm actually going away from using Keep Alives.
Yeah. And most of the stuff I bought, when you buy the scale trains, they already come with the Keep Alive capacitors in them.
Yeah.
But, the Genesis and that don't have them in them.
No, they don't, but they have a quick plug where you can take the soundtracks, current keepers, and plug them right in.
Well, that's what this is. I plug it right in. I mean, it's simple to do, but you got to fit it in the shell somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's not as simple.
No, it ain't. You're absolutely right. It's not that simple. And what a lot of people don't realize is
filter right into the board would be better.
Well, and the way the soundtracks decoders are programmed for Athearn, they're on what do they call it? Optional power mode, which allows it to work on analog. Mm-hmm. And if you do like run over a dead spot where the current keeper kicks in, then you get the whole startup sequence phase on the locomotive, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So that's something you got to be careful about, whether it's the Genesis or the not the economies, but the ready to roll that have the economies in them. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Can't you turn that option off, Jason?
It's all in the programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunnyside Rails said they make 2 different sizes on those Keep Alives, and that four cell, the stacker, it looks more like a cube, but it's just a little more compact.
So they both have 5 capacitors. One is in the arrangement of a 1x5, so it's 5 in a row, and that's what they've had for the longest. And then it wasn't until last year they released the 2x3 configuration.
Yeah.
Which
I guess it is 5. Yeah, I have the flat ones, 5 in a row.
Here we go.
Here, let me because Okay.
Yeah.
Current keeper. Yeah.
Yeah. So they call this one the current keeper 2, but it's literally 5 capacitors, but in the 2x3 setting. And like I said, it's got the if my hand wasn't covering it, but right there you can barely see the quick plug.
Oh yeah.
That's the same exact thing, just different configuration, right? It don't do anything different,
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah, the exact same thing.
You can make
Yeah,
your own,
nothing.
you can make your own keep alive with just a couple capacitors.
Yeah, and Soundtrack sells the capacitors separately. George has done videos on Soundtrack's YouTube channel where he'll, like if it's going like in a yard switcher, you're already limited on the space. So he has showed ways, how you can solder, one capacitor, or if you're using 2 capacitors, how to make like a little small battery pack. Yeah,
because sometimes you only need a second or 2 of energy to keep the engine going.
You know, usually just a little dirty spot or just to get across a turnout,
Right.
if you don't have your turnouts powered,
Yeah, the frog area is where you might lose power if you don't have
especially on the short switchers.
Yeah.
When you go at such slow speed,
wheel.
usually.
Depends on
Yeah,
the
so
wheel.
Jason, Trackside Mac asked, are Keep Alives easy to install?
Oh, very, very easy. For Soundtrack's decoders, they're very easy. All it is just plugging it in.
Okay.
Here, I'm going to hold this locomotive up.
Okay, here, I'll bring you up big. Hey, Randall, sorry, we're not ignoring you,
no,
buddy.
it's fine, Daryl. I'm actually
Actually,
driving
hold
around
on.
anyway, so.
Okay.
I think I have another current keeper sitting over here.
John Arthur brings up a good point too, Daryl.
Okay, let me, yeah, I was going to put John Arthur's up. So John
I'm assuming
Arthur,
they're connected together inside there, not just with the shrink wrap, but they're going to be wired together somehow, right?
Right.
So you should be able to move them around somewhat.
Jason, that would probably be a really good project for you on a live stream, is show how you install a current keeper.
Well, that live stream would not last long. That would be like a 5-minute live stream.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I actually hardwired one into a Tsunami 1 board.
Tsunami 1, I would never do that because Tsunami 1 is such junk. I would get rid of that Tsunami 1.
It was an Athearn Genesis older series that was, new old stock.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
So,
Hello, John.
It was the keeper.
I thought I had another current keeper already open close by, but I don't know what I did with it. So I'm just going to show you. All right. So this is the PMP boards. And right here is the female connection for that current keeper just to plug in.
Oh, I'll be darned.
That's all you need.
So, yeah, that's all you got to do. There's no soldering. You just plug it in.
Oh, wow.
All right. Here is the TSU 2200. And you have to kind of cut back a little bit of the shrink tubing. Don't rip it all the way off, but you can cut a little bit of it back.
With the female connectors underneath there.
Yeah.
That's
To
what
answer George's question, FL Railroad Dog, yeah, I noticed it too. Yes, they did. They changed the way our apps look.
Look here.
That might be the way. That might have been the way to go, Jason, in that locomotive, because you wouldn't need the whole board.
So it's right there. That's where you plug your current keeper in on this style of decoder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
now, what's that other wire hanging
small
out
spaces.
of?
So this is your standard 9-pin.
Okay.
These are 2 more lighting functions and your speaker hookup.
Oh, okay.
So this is a 6 lighting function decoder. So, and everything is all quick plug. I mean, look here,
Oh, wow.
It's all quick plug. You just sometimes have to cut the heat shrink back a little bit. So let's say that you've got, an Athearn locomotive that's got, I thought I had one over here, but I don't. Of course, I don't have everything I need with me. It's all put up, but
Oh, that's okay, Jason.
if it's one of the, the dummy boards that looks like this, but it's got the 9-pin ribbon connector there, you could pull these wires off and just pop it on there and set it up like that.
Oh, wow.
And that's how quick your install is. But
Now,
I prefer
You
not
can
to do it that way.
hardwire that in just like it is, though.
Yeah, you could even hardwire this in if you wanted to. You could hardwire it.
That would be nice for something with a little bit of minimal space because you don't have the board in the way.
That too.
You know.
Or in my case, I take the board out and I just do the PNP boards because these boards have 8 lighting functions. So I can get 2 more lighting functions with this PNP board versus that, 2200.
Yeah, John. For some reason, I have a better understanding of the boards. Like that 2200 he just showed. Other than the board itself, I don't know why.
I just broke it.
It's all stuff. It's all.
What decoder did I break, Leon?
I think he's being funny.
Oh, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think Lynn's being funny.
Oh, well, I have brought a decoder before, but it's been a minute. And I did blame
somebody else.
I think we've all tried a decoder.
Well, and see, I tried this one because I tried to shove a PNP board with a current keeper on top of it in a Alco RS1 that has a shorter hood than like a GT7. And it shoved the decoder down onto the motor's flywheel. And yeah, you talk about a lot of blue smoke.
I'm sorry, Anthony. How long were you down there? Because I wasn't even.
Oh, about 10 minutes. I was just getting ready to just cut it off.
Oh, no way. Really, dude? I'm so sorry. I just looked over the left of my screen. I'm like, what is that over there? And I realized there was somebody there. And I'm so sorry, Anthony. Thank you for hanging in there, my friend. Holy mackerel.
Hey, wanted to ask Jason a question since he's the decoder freak too.
Shoot.
Sure.
Hey, I got 3 Athearn ready to runs, 8-pin connectors. I was gonna put ESU 8-pin decoders in, but they're nowhere to be found. So what do you suggest?
You're asking the soundtracks guy about ESU, man.
Yeah.
No, I said no. I can't find the ESU, so there's either tsunamis or soundtracks or something else. So what do you suggest?
Okay, so does it look like this? Is it one of these boards that have the removable pin thing there?
I can't see that. You gotta make them big.
Daryl, make them big.
Okay, I'm gonna make them big. Let me.
Here, I'm gonna turn my phone sideways.
Okay, let me make you big, Jason.
There we go.
Hold on. I There we go.
Is the board in your locomotive similar to this, where it's got the little 8-pin thing at the top?
Similar. Yeah.
Okay, so you could do one of 2 things. Option 1 is you can get one of these style. It's a Tsunami 2 TSU 2200, like that. They make an adapter, and I don't have one with me that I haven't cut the wires off of, but they make these 8-pin to 9-pin adapters, so you can go straight from there to like that.
So I have to solder all those wires together to make that connection?
No.
All you gotta do is you pull this off.
Unplug that. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. They make one. I use the wires because it was actually, I steal the wires sometimes, but it was actually right here. Here's the other end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has both ends, Anthony.
Okay.
8-pin on one and 9-pin on the other.
Okay.
That's if you don't want to do a lot of soldering. I mean, you still got to solder
No.
a speaker no matter what.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna try and find those Rapido. Is it Rapido speakers? The ones that are really good. I think that's the
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
these are what I use. These are called Soundtrax's mini cubes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're not real big, but I put 2 of those in my locomotives, and that's what you hear on my layout for the most part. So that's-
Lynn McCurdy says, oh, go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
But here's option 2. You could replace your board and go with the PMP8, but then you have to solder everything.
Okay. I don't want to replace the board. I just want to plug stuff in and
So I
solder
would
the
go-
speaker and be done. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with this then.
That's the Tsunami tools. Okay.
Yeah, get with me later. I'll help you out on it.
All right.
This John 2618 says that scale sound. That might be the speaker you're thinking of, Anthony. Scale
Yeah.
sound.
Scale sound. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I've heard good things
So-
about those.
So when you see a steam engine that is decoder ready, how difficult is it to add a decoder? Most of the time, you put it right in the tender. It's like a quick plug, and most of the time it's these that you put in there. This one here, this one's actually fried. I did not fry this one. Client did. I got to send it back to get repairs, but this is actually for steam. So.
Interesting.
So, John, is that the name of the website too? Streamline backshop.com or something?
Yeah, Lynn, usually you go in the tender. Not
Yeah.
the boiler.
Yeah, no, not the boiler. Always in the tender. I haven't seen many that go in the boiler.
Yeah, I don't have any of those plugs you're talking about. Jason?
Yo,
Yeah, I don't have any of those plugs you're talking about. It's got 8-pin on one end and 8-pin on one end and 9-pin on the other. Just plugs straight into that
Hi, JD.
decoder.
Hey, JD.
yeah, that like I said, that is definitely the easiest way to go. I mean, you have options, but of course, you're talking, space. How much space do you really have?
Well, Lynn says not always, Jason. I do have one in the boiler. That's why I asked.
There is one locomotive that I had to put in the boiler because it didn't have a tender. It was a little it was a 040. So really, really small.
Switcher.
Yeah, it was a switcher.
B&B.
But
I don't have any.
unfortunately, I did not get sound in that one. It was just DCC.
I don't have any Bachman stuff for sale. No, sorry. A couple of Bachmans I have, I'm keeping. I have 7s and I have a GP9. But those are keepers.
Hey, so all you guys are gonna laugh at me. So I have a funny story. Well, it's not really a funny story, but I actually learned how to use my NC power cab the other day. How about that? I actually learned how to use it. I actually learned how to program. Yeah, I actually learned how to program. I've got, believe it or not, I have got the Pro Cab, and then I've got the wireless NCE Pro, but I still refuse to let go of my MRC. The only reason why I had to learn how to consist and program on my NCE was because my MRC finally took a dump on the side where it lets me program. It would not allow me to program the trains no more. So I love my MRC so much that I was willing to spend the money to buy a brand new MRC system and had it shipped out ASAP. No one has them. They just don't have them. They're back ordered. So I actually learned how to do it. And I was really surprised because the consist that's coming up, I wanted to put one of my other scale trains SD9s in it. I got it programmed to that consist. So just a little note. I mean, because mostly everybody's NCE, I'm MRC, but I just wanted to throw that out. I learned something new this weekend.
Well, don't feel bad, Daryl. I still haven't figured out how to. If I have 2 or 3 locomotives in a consist.
This one I have 5. I have 5 in the consist, and the consist number that it's in is number 81. And as soon as I learned, and I'm trying to think, I went on one channel. Actually, I went on a couple channels. There's I consist with the CV number 19. That's how I consist my trains. CV number 19. I don't consist because really NCE. I watched Dave from Crooked Rivers video. Super easy, Dave. It was a great video. But CV19 gives me options where I can turn on, turn off lights. I can, so only the.
I've learned more since that video. The video was a couple years back. I've learned a lot more since then. So
yeah. The only thing about
doing
it through NCE, and it doesn't matter if you have the power cab or the pro cab, either system, the system will save the consist. However, you can't program all the options that you could program if you did it through the CVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and even George from Soundtracks recommends you to do it through the CVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did with my 2 engines. I set up all that. Then I just consisted them together on the power cab, and that was it.
Well, for example, I did a couple of locomotives for Thomas. They were 2 Pensy units, and I consisted them together through the CVs. And so you still have your locomotive address, but you have a consist address.
Right.
And so, and I did it to where when he has them together, the front, let's say they're, back to back. Okay. So they're, long hood to long hood. So if it's going forward, the front locomotive will have the headlight on the short hood. And then when that consist goes in reverse, it shouldn't be the front locomotive moving the light to the back of the locomotive. It should be the last locomotive should have the light on the opposite end.
Right.
Right.
That's the proper way of doing it. And then, of course, if you got a locomotive in the middle, it doesn't matter about headlights.
It doesn't matter.
But the other thing about consisting, and this is something that gets on my nerves that I see people do that don't consist, they'll just throw 3 locomotives with the same address. Well, when they go to blow the horn to go through a grade crossing, well, all 3 locomotives are blowing a horn, and that's not how it is.
Right.
So that's why you consist them. And if you do end up consisting your locomotives, you can, through the CVs, you could take those 2 locomotives or 3 or however many, as long as you put them in the proper order, proper direction, you could take those to somebody else's layout, put in the consist address, not the locomotive's address, but the consist address, and those locomotives will run on someone else's layout.
Yeah. I did.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I did a 5-step video on the MRC, and it actually works the same way. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me, well, what do those numbers mean? So this is how I consist my trains. Okay, so say like, okay, so when I set up, I go in, I have the address. You know, let's just say the well, like the one that's heading. This one right here is address 8134. Okay, so I take 8134. It has its address. I go in, I hit the CV the first time, and you hit CV19, and then it asks you what number you want to put in. I put in the first two numbers for it, or you could put the last two. So the consist number of this consist that's rolling by is number 81. Then I put in CV21, and since it's the front loco, I enter 255. And then for CV 22, I enter 255. Boom, that one's done. That's the front loco. The second loco is 8107. CV 19, first number out is going to be consist number 81. CV, no, it's going to be 81. It's because, well, this one's running forward. So this one's 81. So the CV21 is going to be 136, and CV22 is going to be 28. Boom, I'm done with that one. Okay, so this one right here, the Union Pacific, since it's turned backwards, it's 9564. That's its original number. I go into CV19 for that one. I hit consist, I hit CV19, and I push in 81 plus 128 because this one is running backwards.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter what system you use.
Right.
You're
exactly.
programming the CVs.
Yeah, you're programming the CV. So this one, since it's not the lead one, again, it gets CV21 136, and then CV22, I input 28, and then that loco's done, and I go along the line. So that's how I do my CVs, and it keeps all the functions. The only thing is when I back up a train, I haven't figured that one out yet. If I want to back up that consist, I go into the last locomotive, whatever number it is, and you can actually program the light to come on. You just hit the original number, not the consist number, and you can turn the headlights on. So, yeah, but it actually works the same way with NCE power cab. And I was quite surprised when I found that out. So it's the same, it's programs the same way.
Has anybody assisted a train with an engine in the front and one in the rear?
Yeah.
Say that again.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same
No matter
thing.
where it is, it's just the front and the rear. They don't have to be hooked together.
Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing that with my subway trains, because one engine doesn't pull up all the cars up the place because it's, you know,
Right.
way up.
Hey, Jake from Mill Valley Subdivision. Good evening, my friend.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So, and somebody's asked, a couple of people asked me, what do those numbers mean? I really don't know. I was actually given these numbers. They said, look, this is how we do our consist. This is the numbers we get for CV21 and 28. These are the ones we use on our layouts. So they gave me I wrote down the numbers and I used them ever since. So like what Jason says, when you blow the horn, the only horn that's blowing is the front engine.
Right.
The lights are only on the front engine, but you've got everything else working that you need to work. So
That's all NMRA stuff, I think. Standard.
yeah.
Yes, it is
When
NMRA
it
standard.
goes in reverse, the rear engine's rear light comes on. I have mine going in the same direction.
Dadgummit.
You know.
So yeah, so I learned something new this weekend, and I was pretty proud of myself. And because instead of learning something new, I was just gonna try to buy another system so I didn't have to. And believe it or not, the MRC there's a lot more steps that you have to go through. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. There's a lot more steps you have to go through with the NCE than you do the MRC. The MRC is like seconds. The NCE takes a little bit more time. So that's why I like the MRC. Let's see, Randall's back. Hey, Randall.
Hey, Daryl. Sorry, I didn't leave my own accord. For some reason, I got a phone call. When it did, it kicked me out of the stream. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what
okay.
happened.
Okay, well, now we've got George back. Hey, George. Or Anthony.
George.
Yeah, George. Hey, Anthony. Yeah,
Hey.
I saw you wrote there that you were your connection got messed up.
Yeah. Got crappy internet service over here. Just blanks out sometimes.
So now
I know
that
how that goes.
Yeah, so now that I've learned how to use the NCE, I don't know. I just might switch it out for my 5 amp wireless NCE and maybe give that a whirl. But I don't know. I'm just still real partial to the MRC. It's what I've used, and
I consistently hear those Walters with my MRC system. It works fine. But the guys at the club, they use their phones to do it. They have a Wi-Fi system hooked to the system, and they use their cell phones to consist everything.
Right.
Because I offered to consist a couple of names again. They said, "No, we'll use our phones." So.
Yeah, see, I'm not I know some people are a fan of it. Like I know John Arthur is. Me and him, we've kind of talked about this in the past. I'm just one of those that I want the feel of the buttons and the potentiometer. I don't want to try to, because see, I don't have to look at this to control my train.
Right.
I know it based on feel, but if I'm using a smartphone, I have to look at it.
Right.
Well,
Jason, I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have that one too.
I'm trying to get used to this.
Here, Dave. Let me bring Dave. Let me
have a wireless.
So everybody can see what you got there, Dave. Let me bring you up.
It's the Cab 06. It's the wireless.
Yeah, that's the same one I have.
Now,
it's fine when I get it programmed in. I can control the locomotive, but I'm having trouble getting used to bringing up like the accessories and toggling back and forth between different locomotives. It's just getting used to it is the main thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rick, Bolts Bell.
That's not the one you brought to my house.
No, actually, I had this one delivered. It got delivered while I was at your house.
Now, is that NCE, Dave?
Yeah,
it's
that's
NCE. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a wireless remote.
Yeah, wireless.
Okay, the Train Freak. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is wireless.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are wireless.
Here's the difference.
Cab 06. Yeah.
This is not wireless. This one is wireless.
Oh.
Red LED.
Right.
No LED.
Correct.
Yeah.
This
and
one,
it's nice now because they just have the little LED now instead of the actual antenna.
Oh, how
and
neat.
see, even this one's wireless.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I've got NCE wireless unit. I haven't stuck it up there yet.
Yeah.
So
wireless.
I was able to send my power cab in and get that converted to wireless.
So this is for me. This is my throttle. No one's allowed to use this one. Everybody else uses these.
Okay.
I don't have that problem in my house.
Hey,
well, Jason, when I come to your house, I'll bring my own.
That's fine too.
Yeah,
you can bring your own.
When I went to Anthony's, I brought mine, so we could both operate. It was fun.
So
I'm just trying to get used to it. That's all. I mean, it's fine.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to bring you, Dave, I'm going to bring you up big because you know what? I want to see that beautiful layout. Are you got a train running too tonight?
Yeah, it's running. I got my new Canadian Pacific ES44s running. But actually, on the back of this thing, there's some information, like a quick, a little quick guide on the back. I can't get it to focus really, but on how to bring up different things.
Did you say you had Union Pacific running?
Canadian Pacific.
I didn't know you run the Onion Pacific.
I don't run Union Pacific. I have a couple. These are Canadian Pacific.
Oh, Canadian Pacific. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Is that what you got running tonight?
Yeah, we get around here eventually.
Oh, okay.
Just coming.
Well,
I'm on
we'll-
a stack train. Shocker.
Well, as soon as those puppies get up, I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you up big because I want to see those things run across that bridge. Are they getting pretty close, buddy?
Yeah. I know.
Just speed it up a little bit, Dave.
I got somebody else downstairs. Let me see who else is here.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Hey, Jake.
Up a little bit.
Hey, Daryl.
How you doing, Jake?
I'm good. How are you
What's
guys?
up, Jake?
Hey, Jason.
So we're gonna put Dave back up big again, so we can see a beautiful layout.
I think I'll probably put it up. They're coming around.
Hey, 187. Thank you for being here.
I'll put it up there. It's coming around.
Okay. All right. Here we go, Dave. Hey, Joe Raider.
Joe Raider, what's up?
Wish I could zoom this camera in. Kind of nice.
Wow, look at those. That's absolutely gorgeous, Dave.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
I'm excited to move on and do more scenery, but I gotta get the second level tied in so I can, have that ready. I'm pretty happy with it though.
No, absolutely. No, I'm just kind of just watching it. It's gorgeous.
So Dave, is that bridge bigger than Rick Bailey?
Rick's.
Bigger than Rick Bailey's.
Yeah.
Those bridges are about 23 a piece. That's a 4-foot drop in there. Like that section's like 4 feet
Yeah.
from end to end. The bridges I think are 21 or 23 a piece. They're Walters. Those cracks cut truss bridges,
Right.
double track. And
Wow.
like I said, I think I have to measure them. I got the box somewhere around here. I'm factor. I mean, I gotta have it saving boxes for some dumbass reason. No boxes laying around. Like you don't need to save a box for like the bridges. I do combine like all my extra parts in a box, in
Yeah.
a couple boxes, and I save I do save the instruction sheets just in case I have to repair something. I know how it actually goes together.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
say,
know.
That's beautiful,
I say
Dave.
those as well.
Okay, so let me
Thank you. Hey, Joe.
so let me bring up Jake. I'm gonna bring you up solo so
Okay.
everybody can say hello to you.
All right.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
I've been enjoying your drone videos, man.
Mill Valley
Oh,
Jake.
yeah.
Boy,
Thought I'd try something different with that, Dave. It,
The music's been very relaxing while you watch.
Push you to sleep.
Sleep. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying not to say that, but yeah, it is. But no, it's soothing. I like it. I like looking at your layout. You do a nice job.
Yeah. So you working on anything in your layout you want to share this evening?
Well, I'm on the laptop, so I'm not gonna go take you on a drone tour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's the same thing here with me. I'm on a
Yeah.
laptop, so it's kind of really hard to do that.
Thanks, John.
So, well, good. I'm glad you're in the chat. And okay, so I'm going to bring everybody back up, and we're going to continue our discussion. And there we go.
So what was our discussion?
Well, that discussion
Anybody know
was,
what's on my finger?
I think our last discussion was systems, and like I said, I kind of like the NCE. I kind of like the feeling of it. You know, instead of pushing on a button, I can actually roll my thumb and accelerate the locomotives. I do kind of like it. So, like I said, I look. I started out first. I started out with DC System Digitrax. That's what I started out with. And I started out with the one that has the throttle on it, and it's like got a digital board. It was one of their easy ones. And then I bought the NCE power cab, and I definitely like that. Now it's funny because Jason said it earlier. How I would consist is this was when I was just getting into DCC. I would consist, take them out of the box, and just run them all together elephant style, and I was just happy to have two or three going elephant style. But yeah, all the horns were honking and everything was making noise, and I was like scratching my head. I'm like, okay, that's not how this is supposed to be. Then I came across the MRC, fell in love with it, and I've been using it ever since. So that's kind of the discussion I think we were having. So who all here has NCE?
I do.
I do.
Oh wow.
How about you, Artie?
Artie,
How are you doing over there?
Here, let's put Artie big. Let's see what Artie's doing, because Artie's just going away at it.
I'm here.
Yeah, no, that's good, Artie. So what system do you use, Artie?
NCE.
NCE.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Hey, George.
I gone to NCE because the dealer nearby I deal with is an importer for NCE and also does repairs for it here. I don't have to send it back to the United States if something goes wrong. So that's why I went with NCE. Plus, a lot of our clubs use it.
I'm here.
So I
Neil.
can take the throttle with me. It just makes things a lot more convenient. You know what I mean?
I've had real good luck with any of their customer service and that, and they're right here in New York State. So I mean, I'm in Ohio, so it's not too far. I get my stuff back pretty quick. If I had to send a couple things in, what do you call those? Not PCP. The plug-in panels, not the PCP panel. The other one.
UTP.
Cords. Yeah, thank you. UTP.
Yeah.
Sent a couple of those in for repair.
So before my internet died, when I asked a question about how is there a way of turning on the sound with all the consistent locomotives, did anybody answer that? Because I missed a lot.
What do you mean?
Like so I have three diesels consistent,
Right.
and if I want the sound on all all three of them, not necessarily horns and all that stuff. What I've been doing is I will start up the other two that's not the lead loco in the consist, start the lead loco last. That way they will all follow the lead loco consist, and I'll have the sound on all three of them. But there's got to be a simpler way of just, if you got a consist, say local number, I don't know, 5555, for instance, and you've got two other locos consistent to it, for those other two to start up with the lead loco. That making sense? What I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, that makes perfect sense, and I do mine individually.
I mean, that's what I've been doing, but I thought there must be some simpler way of doing that, where the sound will come up on all of them if you can do it.
The reason why I do mine individually is because that's what the real railroads do.
Yeah, I do mine individually. That's how I do mine. I start with the lead loco, Okay, and here it is again. When this is just how I do it, Anthony. Okay, so I take my lead local. Okay, like what's on my consist right now, NS. Okay, whatever the lead local number is, it's programmed to that number. Okay, it's not going to go away. So when I go into I go into well, see, it's different for the NCE than it is for the MRC. So I just go into the consist mode and I hit CV19 for that consist. Okay, and the first number, once you push up number CV19, it's going to ask you for a number, and that's going to be your consist number, your first CV. It's going to be CV. So I just put the consist, the first number. It's 8134. Okay, that never goes away when you're doing CV19. It does not go away. You're just going to give it a simpler address. It's a consist number. So I address the first CV as 81. That's going to be the number when you go to call up that consist. I've got 5 in here right now. No, actually, I've got 6. I've got 6 locomotives right now that are consisted to 81. All of them have their sound on, but none of them ring bells except for the loco. So I tag in 81 on CV19. The next one, I go CV21. Since it's the front loco, I leave it at I leave it at 81. Yeah. No.
Dude,
No.
write it down and email me.
Okay,
I'm not gonna remember that.
Yeah, no. Okay, for your front-facing locomotive, it's real simple. CV19 equals the consist number. That's number 81. Okay, for the lead loco. Then I go into CV21, and I put in CV21 255. Okay. I go to the next CV. It asks you for the next CV number, which is 22. I push in 255. That's it. Your front locomotive's done. Now, if you want to reverse the second consist, it's the same way. You go into CV19, and it's going to be consist 81, but because it's turned around, you want to add 128 to it. So your consist number 81 and 128 are going to put that locomotive in reverse. Okay.
Yeah, see,
Now,
you
because
you
it's
do
not
that a
the
whole
lead
lot
loco,
different than NEC has us do it.
because it's not the lead locomotive. These were the CVs that I was given by Scale Trains. Actually, one of the guys that runs the layouts, he says, this is how we run our trains. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This is how we do it. He goes, then your next CV is going to be 21. It's going to be 136. And then CV 22 is going to be 28. Now, for all the rest of the locals behind that, they're all the same numbers. CV21 is 136. CV22 is 28. But just, you got to remember when you first consist number 81, whether that train's going to be in reverse or forward. So if you're, say like my fourth loco in is going to be going forward, it's just going to be CV81. Then you go to CV20, CV81. Then CV21 is going to be 136. CV22 is going to be 28. Boom, it's done. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know that was a lot said.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot said. I'm sorry. But this is the way, hi Edward, happy Valley Hollies. But like I said, this consist, all 6 locomotives are consisted to 81. The only one that makes bells and whistles and lights is the front locomotive. That's it.
Well, normally when I do the consist thing on the NEC, I put the lead locomotive in, then it asks you what the trail locomotive is. I put that number in, and then which way is it? Is it forward or aft? Going forward or reverse. You know what I mean. And then you can just continue to add other locomotives and just put one, the ones in the middle. Just add another locomotive, and just to say if it's forward or reverse. I don't ever go into CVs and all that stuff.
Right. Right.
But you can set the CVs in advance, and then you could just consist that engines later. You can do that. That's what I did. I set up all the CVs first, then I just consist them. And once they're consisted, when you turn it on, they all do what they're supposed to do. You don't have to do the TVs every time. Once they're set, they're set.
Yeah. And everybody's got a different way of doing things, and there's different ways. Like I said, that's, this is kind of how I learned from the guys out here in Southern California. But the numbers that I just gave out were actually from one of the guys at Scale Trains, and he says, "Look, this is how we run our locomotives when we're out and about. This is the numbers we put in. That's it. I can't tell you what they're for. Just run these numbers, and I guarantee it, you're going to be very happy with your consist. And after you learn how to do that with consisting, it makes all the difference in the world. Like I said, I've got 6 locomotives in this consist, 6, and they're all consisted differently, but they're not. I don't know if that made sense, but.
So if you have all 6 on the railroad, but you're not running them all together, say you're only going to run 3 of them, and you bring up the lead locomotive, is all 6 of them going to start moving, even though the other 3 aren't on the train?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
so there's nothing different there. Okay. That's all.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Now, how you take that out? Okay. So say like my lead locomotive. Well, let's just go with the back one. I want to take 8107 out. So what I go into the programming. I hit CV19. Well, first you type in 8107. You type in 8107. You want to program the loco. You put 8107, and then you go to the CVs. You go to CV19, and you press 0. Boom! It totally takes that locomotive out. You can take that locomotive out, and then punch in 8107. And it will run on the program number 8107. It won't disturb anything that you did inside of that in the beginning when you first program it. All you're giving it is a consist number. That's it. That's all you're giving it.
And CV19 holds the consist number.
Yeah. So
what'd you say, Thomas?
I said CV19 holds the consist number.
Okay.
Okay, I got one for you guys. What's on my finger?
Can't see your finger.
Wait a minute. Let me bring you. Let me bring you up. Let me bring you up big.
Somebody's got some screeching in the background. Is it just? Am I the only one hearing that?
I'm hearing it too.
I don't know who that is.
I thought I was getting interference on my radio here.
Here, let me.
What is that?
Not me.
What is that?
They're wood pallets.
What are they?
Yeah.
Wood pallets.
Oh, those are
Wood
wood pallets.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool! Did you print those?
Yeah, I printed them out. Yeah. And I'm waiting for some pine paint to make it look like they're, regular, that color. But I ordered it on Amazon today. I'm going to get it next week. So I'll be able to
That's
paint.
cool.
Yeah. And then this is the roadbed I use.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that roadbed too.
Yeah. This is good because it's sound deadening,
Right.
It's very good. And it looks realistic too.
Right.
And then this is what else I was working on. This is a Cobol Alpha Mimic, and it has, let me see, get on the back there, has that board there, and then you plug in all the lights into that, and then they get addressed on your NCE system or Digitrax, whatever, and you address each light. I used on JMRI, I built a script to turn the lights on and off. Then on the JMRI panel, I just click a little button and it turns the lights on and off. So I put in each one.
That's really cool. So anybody got an answer for Sparky 107? I love doing large consists, but once the train hits the helix, I get problems. Front two slow down, and the back two are still going faster. Is there a fix for that?
That means they're not speed matched.
Is that what that means?
Maybe either when they hit the grade, there's more resistance on the front two.
Yeah, that's just why I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, the back two are still on level ground. So they're
If
probably
it was
might
me,
be speed match, but
Yeah, you got to when you consist, you got to make sure the ends are speed matched, because then you'll have a problem eventually.
that and I would probably have 3 on the front and 1 on the back.
yeah, like Sparky said, their speed matches is the grade. It's causing the ones on the grade to slow down because of the grade, and then the other two are on flat ground still. So they're going to actually have a little more speed because they don't have the resistance against them.
Right.
The grade yet.
Well, I mean, and think
I
about
don't know how
it
to
this way.
fix it. I have no idea.
I mean, if you think about it, let's say that each locomotive is 500 horsepower. Well, if you got 2 on the front, 2 on the back, that's 1,000 horsepower on the front, 1,000 horsepower on the back. And then when you do hit that grade, you still got that resistance. So you got resistance on 1,000 on the front, but no resistance on 1,000 on the back. If you put 3 on the front and have 1 on the back, then you got 1,500 with resistance on the front, which will still overpower the 1 that's only 500 on the back.
Why not just put all 4 in the front? Wouldn't that make a difference?
So you can ripping the couplers off, but man.
That, and you have the one on the back is making it to where there's not as much tension throughout the whole consist, because it's pushing, not pulling.
Mm-hmm.
So it would defeat the purpose, to be honest.
I kind of say the same thing. I mean, yeah, it would sound like it's because they're, even if they're speed matched, but it makes sense when the first two start going up the grade, they have a resistance where the back two just really doesn't. So that totally makes sense.
But why wouldn't the back two just push it up?
Jack has a good comment on that. I don't know how to do that, but Jack does.
What you got to think. So what you got to think about is when you got locomotives pulling your train, you got what's called coupler slack. Well, as the locomotives are pulling, it's all taunt.
Right.
When the back locomotives are doing more work than the front locomotives, or the back locomotives' work is easier than the front locomotives, what ends up happening is those couplers go from taunt to all that slack. There's too much slack in there. So, and then that can cause derail issues.
Yeah.
So you still have to have more power on the front end than on the back end.
Yeah. So Jack says the back engine has to notch up 1 to counter the drag. That makes sense too, as well.
Yeah.
Now,
Sparky, is the rear runs pushing the stuff off the track? Is that what's happening? The rear runs are pushing. They're meeting less resistance. They're pushing, and causing derailments. You said something about the middle locomotive.
Hey guys, I've only got 1% battery on my phone, so I'm gonna have to cut on out. I hate to.
I'm actually gonna go here too, Daryl.
Okay.
See you, Jimmy.
All right.
Okay.
Y'all be safe out there.
Jason, I'll get with you on that decoder, man.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. We'll watch later.
Yeah, me too. Later.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Daryl, I'm gonna cut out, man.
Okay.
But guys, if you're up in the morning, come join 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Good morning, bro.
Siesta before you shut.
Oh, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh.
He's a busy beaver tonight.
It's looking good though, man.
It's getting there.
Hey, welcome the turntable with Hella Fly Black Guy. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. So if anybody hasn't joined the turntable with the Hello Fly Black Guy. He's got a really neat channel. He does live rail fanning, and he's out of Colorado, and he does a lot of live streams. But his really cool live streams, well, I like the ones that come from the railroad yards. He does UP and Union Pacific, BNSF. He does a really, really cool job. So if anybody isn't subscribed to him and want to check him out, I highly recommend go check him out.
Well, dang, Daryl, I wish I got here about 10 minutes earlier. We got a kick man leaving the yard right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's a kick man?
It's a Kansas City, Kansas to Memphis, Tennessee train.
Oh,
Yeah, they refer to them as kickmams here on the their sub, but the northbounds simply have the symbols reversed. So it'll be a mem kick or mem Memphis, Kansas City.
Turntable, I just subscribed to you, buddy. So look forward to watching some of that. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay, Dave.
All right, have a good night, Dave.
Great show.
Good night,
Good
Dave.
talking to everybody.
good night, Dave. No, Joe, I haven't started doing that yet. Joe Rader, no, I haven't. I've been working on.
Actually, oh, go ahead, Anthony.
I was just gonna say I've been working on changing a couple of scenes in another building, so I haven't got to that caboose.
The channel name is let me go in and make his channel blue so everybody can check on the turntable. I thought I did. Go ahead, guys. Chat up while I'm.
Yeah, don't mind the beeping sound either. That's just me backing up, putting this van away. So.
Okay, so it's the turntable with the Hello Fly Black Guy. Okay, so I made him a moderator. So Jack, I'm going to make a moderator as well. And so that way everybody can tap onto their channel and they can check them out and give them some love. So there you go. So Jake, so you got any projects on your layout that you're working on?
I've been working on kind of what's behind me here. The car manufacturer is right over here that is kind of at a stage where it's ready for the layout, and I kind of move on.
Right.
What's behind me is kind of the surrounding scene. Did some, I know Jason just left, but did some super trees this week up on this embankment. Just kind of, I like to get everything to a certain level. I don't like to see plywood too long. I get a little too antsy. So,
right.
Just kind of the surrounding work. And then now I'm going to go back through and add some more signs and, just things like that. But I kind of get everything to a certain level and then go to the next level from there and so on and so forth.
Cool. Very good. So I really enjoyed the last time you were up. You showed us your layout. I was really, really impressed. I mean, I really, really was. So I was glad you came up on the panel tonight. So let me go ahead and put everybody back big.
Yeah, it's a little hard with the kids sometimes getting them to sleep and.
Oh yeah,
on here before it's too late. So
yeah, no, absolutely. So Sparky says the biggest thing I find is the middle DPU pushes and pulls too much in the wrong spot, so it gets derailed. Yeah, Sparky, I'm just going to tell you my experience because mine comes from up a 3% grade, and I have no engines in the middle, and I have no engines on the rear end when I'm pulling them up from the bottom level. All my engines are up front. That way, if they all slow down, I'm not getting any taunt or pulling from the back or the middle, because absolutely correct and right. What will eventually happen is one's just sputtering and trying to catch up with the rest of them, and it just derails stuff. So for me, I don't put anything on the rear end or in the middle when I'm going up the hill. So I would say that would be the same thing for the Helix. Yeah, it looks cool that you got engines in the middle. It's no different than what I've got on going on right now, but it's only because this is on a level grade. I don't have to worry about, the engines, having to lag or not. So if that helps, that's just coming from me. And because I do have to go up quite a big grade. So Jack.
This might not work for everybody, but I've got a solution that I do for myself.
Okay, let's hear it.
When I go out and buy some trains, I usually buy them in pairs. And I usually buy them in pairs and put the decoders together at the same time. And usually, if I do that with two brand new engines, I don't have to speed match them. They go together very nicely. And majority of my layouts are all been mountain railways, so there's always been a climb. So there's no fighting between two engines. They work together.
Right.
That's what I do, and yes, it can get expensive.
I've heard counters to that, Artie. I've heard that you can buy two of the exact same engines, and the motors could be geared differently, and they won't run the same, even though they're brand new like that. Though one might run at, if you set it at speed step 1, it might run faster than the other one or slower than the other one. So you don't really know. You still have to speed step the engines before you can system. No matter.
Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Like with a lot of the stuff that I bought, like I buy two motors of the same type.
Right.
And ran it together. I haven't had any of that much of an issue.
You got a good shot at it, but you still have to speed step them to keep them in line. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas, I've never had that issue with the scale trains engines. I've never had to speed match them. They run perfectly together no matter which combination I put in, all of them.
Yeah, I hear you. It's the same thing. When I pull the scale trains out, they run pretty much close together. Every once in a while I have one. Well, that's why I threw this one that's coming through. This one, for some unknown reason, just runs a little bit different, but it runs great with these last run of scale trains. So they all 6 of them run great together. So yeah.
Yeah, the Athens Genesis I have, they all run together too without me speed matching them. I haven't tried mixing those with the scale trains yet. But,
I try not to mix and match manufacturers.
Yeah.
If it's Intermountain, I run all Intermountain. If it's Genesis, whether it's Tsunami 2 or not, I run them all the same. I don't mix and match companies because there are different. The Intermountain, though, what I have found, believe it or not, the Intermountain runs pretty good with the scale trains. So the only problem is the scale trains don't last the Intermountains don't last as long as the scale trains do, because they'll lag. One will cut out. And Randall Ellison called that out one night because Boxcar Jerry noticed that I took one out of the consist, and he goes, "Hey, what happened to the other engine?" It stopped, and it derailed the train because it was dragging in the middle. And that was the only Intermountain in that scale train's consist. It gave out, where the scale trains just kept pulling it. So that's just a little interesting note. I love the scale trains, hands down, far the best.
Yeah.
This is what I use to speed test.
Okay, let me bring you up big, so everybody can see.
That's an AccuTrack 2 speed on meter, and it goes in miles per hour or kilometers, depending on what you want to do. And it works with N scale, HO scale, and you just put this over the track and you run the engine at different speed steps, and you get the miles per hour.
Huh? Interesting.
When it runs through here, it picks it up, and then it'll give it the speed. See how the little green dot stopped when I put my finger through there, but I'm not going fast enough to, I don't think my finger, there it goes, see how it changed? And I have 16 miles an hour. And so it works really well. I think I got this from, I can't remember where I bought this, but it was a while back. But this helps out speed testing your engines.
But so the Canadians would be lost with that one because it hasn't got Canadian scale on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl, I'm not to bail out. Believe it or not, my job never ends. I just got a text. My boss wants me to join a meeting at 5:30. So.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No,
I feel your pain there, Anthony.
I hear you. I really do. I hear you. Yeah, it's same for me. I'm up early in the morning. So, all right, Anthony. Thank you for being part of
it. You guys have a good night.
Take care.
You too.
Talk to you later.
He does have it, Mike. Okay, fair enough. I'd actually wouldn't mind getting one of those gadgets and see how accurate the train programmer I've got, because it can measure the distance and speed and whatnot with your engines. And I would like to see how accurate they are to that gadget you got there, Thomas.
Yeah.
Because I have noticed when I use the programmer and I've got two engines that are not speed matched, same brand, two different decoders. Yeah. But when I use a train programmer, the automation program, it adjusts the CVs. It actually has the two engines running together in a consist really nicely. But I still want to see how accurate the speed is with the calculation in that program.
Right. But yeah, then you have, once you get the speeds on the engines, then you go into the CVs and you have to tweak the CVs to get them to be, then they get closer together. Then what you do is you test them and then you see if it's pulling or not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve 87th. Sorry, buddy, I did not catch you. Good evening. How you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here. Yeah, John Arthur. Kid's not. I did put up another link, so if anybody wants to grab it, you can come on up. I'm almost at 2 hours now, so I mean, I did put it up. So if anybody else wants to come up, be more than glad to have.
You guys were talking about those scale trains engines. Not only do they run extremely well, they're incredibly powerful locomotives. We took my Kansas City Southern Tier 4 Evo to the club layout and stuck 64 cars behind it and drug them around the layout. Now, these are not the NMRA weighted 40-foot box cars that they go by. These are cars of all different sizes, weights, and everything else. So that's pretty strong, considering that it did that. So
yeah. Well, like I said, I have. Okay, well, Sparky said 300 feet of 2% grade. Okay. Yeah, that's got me way beat. So, I mean, I've only got probably about 45, 46 feet that I'm actually pulling 3%. Some of it's 2.5, some of it's, but most of it's 3%. And I'm pulling 30, 40 cars. So it's not a big deal. What Sparky's pulling on that one, I see. I mean, I get it. I mean, you're pulling the long consist. Yeah, I would just try putting all trains on the front. That's what I would try, but
that's what I would suggest. Plus all the cars, make sure they're all metal wheels too, because if they're not the old
right
ones.
And also the couplers too, because that was our biggest problem. We had some cars on that train that some of the cars I hadn't even changed over to KDs yet, and we just had all kinds of problems with those cars. A lot of those cars had what they call the AccuMate couplers, which were like these two-piece plastic couplers. A lot of people knows what I'm talking about, but it just got to the point where it just became unbearable. We had to yank those cars off the train eventually. So they just
Yeah.
it just got to the point where they were unmanageable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who here in the panel runs scale trains? Jake, you run scale trains?
I don't.
Okay.
Plain
I
DC
didn't.
over here.
Okay. Randall,
But-
you got scale trains.
Both operator and rivet counter.
Okay. Artie, what do you mostly run?
What I can afford.
Small. I just, actually I love the Athearn Genesis. I really do. Actually, those
Yeah,
are the ones
that's just what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, I love my Athearn Genesis. Those are the ones I actually get to pull up the hill. And like I said, it's only about 45, 48 feet of it, and some of it's 2.5 and some of it's 3, but they're pulling a constants anywhere from 30 to 40 plus cars. It's not really a big deal, because I have to pull from two. If I want to get a 60 to 80 consist, I have to go down the hill and pull them back up, because there's nowhere on this layout I can fit all those cars and just pick them all up at one time. So it's quite fun. I really enjoy it. So okay, so that there we go.
Most of mine are Genesis.
Hey, John Arthur.
And Prado
Hey, guys.
2000s.
John?
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
How's it going?
Pretty good, John. So I saw
y'all
your yeah, I saw your comment. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'll put up a link. So he must have got the kids to bed. And so that's why I put the other link up there if somebody else wanted to come up. And I'm glad you grabbed it, John.
Yeah, thanks for having me up.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know if y'all can hear me clearly. Y'all are coming through with a big time echo, but if I'm clear, then that's good.
No, you're clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, yeah, you're coming clear. So
Okay, cool.
um,
Well, I was just gonna show something a little different. I know we've been talking. Y'all were talking about DCC
Okay.
and stuff when I
Here we
left,
go.
put the kids down, and still on it when I got back. So I thought maybe I'd switch it up and show y'all what I've been working on from a scenery perspective.
there you go.
Let me
You
jump
got
around out of the way here.
you got the full screen.
Oh, cool. All right, let me come down. So what I've been working on is this parking lot next to that large warehouse building and the little fence behind it to kind of tie that scene together. And I did something kind of different with that I thought I would talk about for a second. But I used a wire cutter, and I made these cubes of insulation foam, and then I was able to cut real thin sections off it, like so. And then I
Okay.
used that mosaic style
Right.
on this parking lot here. Gave it a lot of paint, a lot of washes. I don't know if I can zoom in on this front camera. Oh, I can. Good. Gave it a bunch of washes and stuff, and just got a nice little beat up concrete. Sorry for it's so shaky. And just kind of tie that scene together there. So,
Later, Jack.
different.
Yeah, no, I can totally see. So I totally understand what you did. And that, and again, that looks, John, your work is just awesome. It really, really is.
Thank you.
Now, show us again how you cut those thin.
Yeah, because I'm interested, because I got a lot of parking lots to do on my one level.
How did you do
So-
that?
So this is just insulation board.
Right.
To get in front of the camera there.
And it's 1 inch.
That's just insulation board, half inch. No, this is 1 inch board. And
That's
I
1
cut
inch
it.
board.
I cut a section of it out of the sheet that was as wide as it is thick. So it gives
Right.
a cross section of a square.
Right.
And then I was able to. My friend has a Proxon wire cutter. That's how I did this. And then I was able to use this and cut real thin sections, like so, off of that piece. And then each of those I glued down with foam safe glue. I used Aleene's tacky glue, like a mosaic, and just made the concrete pad out of that. Because I don't know if you can tell on the screen, there's a slight slope left to right. There's a little bit of a upslope here to kind of tie into that road that's in the backdrop.
Right.
So I did that to make it nice and smooth. And but yeah, it was a method that I guess I've seen Jason Jensen do something similar on his layout. He had a much bigger area he did. So I thought I would give it a try. But I ended up painting them the same way I did this loading dock a while back. I've got a video of that out a while back. But
Yeah.
that loading
Yeah.
dock is actually made out of foam also.
Now, when you're cutting those slices, is it by hand, or is it like a gauge with that wire cutter?
There is a guide on it, and so I held the block. There's a vertical wire, and it's got a nice
Right.
flat surface, and there's a guide, and I just cut little slices off until I had a whole container full.
Wow.
It's a pretty nifty little contraption. I've got a friend who's into. He's not a model railroader, but he's a modeler and an artist, and so he's got this foam cutter. He does some really cool work with it. So he came over. He was using my airbrush, and I said, "Hey, can you bring your foam cutter? I've got a project I want to take on." And so he did. So while he was using my airbrush, I was using his foam cutter.
And
Right.
the foam cutter has a guide on it, right?
Yeah.
And then the fence behind it is just titchy fence that I airbrushed. It's a couple different thin layers of grays and buffs and those kind of colors. Just kind of make a old little fence back there. And there's actually about an inch between the backdrop and the fence. And I'm going to put some greenery there. Now, I don't want to hide that building, but I'm just going to do something to create the illusion of depth, right? So that looks like a scene that's much deeper than it really is.
Yeah, just like the picture scene on the right-hand side where it says supplies. That looks really good. I mean, that looks like it belonged to there.
So that's all backdrop, those buildings?
I'm sorry?
Is that all backdrop, those buildings?
These buildings here are in the backdrop. And then these are, kits. Or kit
Good night, Sunny Side Rails. Thank you for being here.
Oh, that's crazy that you can't. I mean, just on the screen, you can't tell which is actually protruding out and which is printed on the backdrop.
That's what
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. That's amazing. It really, really is.
Yeah.
It's what do they call that? Forced scenery? Or
Forced perspective.
Perspective, I think, right?
Perspective. Okay, thank you. Yeah, then that looks really, really good. Yeah, I like the idea of cutting the foam. I wish I could, it's what did you call that again? What kind of cutter is that?
Foam cutter.
A foam cutter.
I have a hand one, but I would never be able to cut those things that accurate.
Right, exactly. Well, you can almost use a meat grinder or a hand they slice ham with, or you could probably do it that way too to get the correct one. But I don't think anybody's going to want to spend $300 or $400 for a ham slicer just to slice out foam pieces like that. But,
how much did a foam cutter cost?
Yeah, how much?
Yeah, I think that Proxon is less expensive than that. Like I say, my friend has one. So I've got the airbrush in the booth, and he's got some other kind of cool stuff that we just he lives 5 minutes away, so we share it. Again, I wish he was a model railroader, but he's a good artist in his own right.
Yeah.
It's not, similar media, different modeling.
Yeah. Good night, Trackside Mike. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Mike. Good night, man.
See you, Mike.
Cool. So is there something else you want to share with us?
That was it. That's just what I'm working on.
Cool.
So I thought I'd say hey
Awesome.
and share. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. So let me see here.
I just found a foam cutter on Amazon for about $90.
Okay.
That's probably about right. Is it green? It's about, 2 feet by 18 inches or so.
Let's see. What does it say here?
I think the brand is Proxon that this guy had. And if you guys watch Jason Jensen's videos, it's the same one he has.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, good evening, Wild West King. Thank you for being here this evening.
Figured I'd just hang out here at the yard for a little bit, see if we catch anything.
Well,
There's
yeah, if you're
something-
going to catch, yeah, if you're
There's-
going to catch.
There's something. Well, the train that just left about 30 minutes ago. I don't know if there's one coming north or what, but I'm looking at the signals right now and they're showing red. So there's something closed. So
Yeah. Jason, I did put the link back in if you want to come back up. It should still be there. Cool. Awesome.
I'm going to drop back down because the audio got really funky as soon as I came up. So I just wanted to share that. I'm going to keep listening and jump in the chat if that's cool. I can't hardly understand you guys.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. But you're
No
sounding
worries.
John, I know
on
what
my
that
end.
feels.
okay. All right, John.
But I'm not talking this time, so everyone should be able to understand.
Yeah, sure thing, Artie. Yeah, that Jason's got that decoder done. That means my engine's moved up the ladder.
Oh, that's okay. All right, Artie. I tell you what, Artie. As soon as well, maybe Randall will have something. Well, let's see what you're working on, Artie. Let's see what.
Yeah, go ahead, Daryl, because it may be a while for anything shows up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Let us know. I mean, let us know if you got something coming up. So, Artie, what are you working on?
What I'm doing is I'm putting cork underneath my track.
You're welcome, John Arthur. What are
Just putting
those?
some corking under my track, getting ready for the tortoise motors.
Are those?
Basically,
Are those
waiting for
track
the tortoise
gauges?
motors, so I'm just doing the cork underneath the track.
What are those
And,
things across the track? Are those track gauges?
Yeah,
Yes.
track aligners.
Really?
Track aligners. It actually gives you equal spacing.
Yeah, I
track spacing for all your tracks.
it
And it
helps
fits in the
running dual track.
yeah. Gives you the right spacing, keeps the track in hold in a
Right.
place.
Yeah, that way nothing runs into each other.
Yeah.
Especially on the corners is where you really need it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now I'll use it on that bend here, and the spacing that's in the middle here is just right. I don't have the big passenger cars hitting each other, so they really paid off.
I didn't even know those even existed.
Oh yeah, it's all kinds
Oh
of
yeah, that,
Wow. I've been doing it the old-fashioned way, eyeballing it.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, back in the old days, we used to just put two cars and see if they would hit as they go around the corners. And if they didn't, then you had the space right.
Well, you can see the markings. You can see the texture marks in here, in the middle here. The black is the outside for this track, and then the brown texture mark is for the carriages on this side. And it's still probably about a quarter of an inch. The texture mark's still about a quarter of an inch out. But there's no way that the train carriages are going to hit one another. And yeah, it saved a lot of time.
I used that when I built my Helix. That was good because I had two tracks going up the Helix.
Yeah.
Well, they say you learn something new every night. I've never seen that before. I knew something existed like that. So what is that spaced out? Is that like 2.5 inches or something away from each other from rail to rail?
Mine's adjustable. I can make it whatever size I want.
This is working on the English gauge. So it's 2.5. The red one's 2.5.
Okay.
And the yellow ones are 3. 3 inches apart.
So Jack says 1.5 from center to center.
Yeah, so it's 2.5 with the red. Yeah, 2.5 with the red. And
Okay.
and 3 with the yellow spacing. So it allows me to put, which will happen down here, I can actually put a train platform in the middle here. I do have another gauge here, which is a bit rusted out. Shows you what moisture does. I've got this gauge here, which I use for to work the spacings for the catenary. And the way it's done now is so I can put the catenary on the edge, the post, without the cars hitting it. So basically, if I put that gauge in the spot here, so that's a catenary post.
Good night, 187. Thank you for being here, my friend.
So the post would actually go where that leg is. Put the post there means that the train's not gonna hit the post. Another handy little tool. Yes, it is lower than the American version because that's actually a European gauge for the European passenger trains.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I learned something new tonight. I kind of figured there was some kind of tool out there for that, but I never really researched it. So, everything on my layout, I mean, it's a double main. They're pretty much they look pretty much realistic to me. I mean, the trains are far enough away from each other. Look, this is how I do it. And just to make sure, I took 2 auto racks or passenger cars. I laid my first radius, and then once that one's set, I just take another one or 2 of them, and I just make sure there's more than enough space between the cars that when they're in that 30 degree curve that they're not going to heat each other.
That's
Boom.
how we used to do it in the
There's
old.
my gauge. That's how
I'll
I've
go
always.
back in a little bit, Daryl. I got to hang my keys up.
Okay, that's fine.
That's
Well,
what I
that's
did,
it.
Daryl. I did the same thing on mine.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, you learn. They say you learn something new, every day. I just learned something tonight, and I'm not ashamed that I didn't know there. I mean, I kind of thought there was something out there like that, but now I know. But it's just funny.
Oh, I'd actually wish there was a 2-inch gauge spacing for this for the Australian trains because a lot of our trains between the 2 tracks are actually closer than a 2.5. That's something I'm going to have to deal with later on down the track. Might have to just modify one of these to fit
See,
the
the one
2-inch.
I have, you can adjust it.
Yeah, I might even get one of them too.
Yeah, here, I'll show you what I have.
Here, I'll bring you up, Thomas, so everybody can see what. There you go, Thomas.
Okay, and then this here wing nut, I can change that. Right now it's set for 3. Then I can drop it down or go up higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Are you finished with those, Thomas?
Yeah, you want to borrow them?
Yeah, throw them down over here. I'll borrow them off you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Artie, Jason says, Derail Daryl, tell Artie that I have 3D printed track aligners at 2 inches.
Oh.
Is that Jason Freak?
Yeah, Jason the train freak. Yeah. He said next weekend he's available if you want to go to the donut shop. You can pick him up there.
At the donut shop.
Yeah.
Oh no, next week I'm booked out. Next week I'm booked out. Maybe the week after. Yeah. So I'm pretty much ready. So my next stage is get this. My next step now is to.
Yeah. See, here's one. Your first layout in the 70s, I made my track gauge spacer out of what is that? I that could have been a misspell, but yeah, like I said, I just didn't realize. I'm sure they did, but I never researched it. So that's how I did it. I just took passenger cars to make sure that at least the passenger cars are the auto racks because they're pretty long, and it's worked out ever since. But I like that idea, so I'm glad I asked.
Well, you know how I found out about mine? I went and bought the tool to cut the rails with, and then you know how they show other things that people buy, and that was there, and I said, "Ooh, that looks interesting," so I ordered it, and then I had them.
Yeah. So John Arthur asked Thomas, where did you get that?
Where did I get these?
Yeah.
At Hobby Shop.
Let me bring you up again.
Where did I get these from? Oh, I'll have to go back through my records. But John, I'll look you up and I'll send you an email where I got them from. That's it.
Okay.
Maybe micro.
Micro Mark.
Micro Mark. Yeah.
Micro Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Jake, you a fan of Micro Mark, I guess.
Yeah, I got a few things from them.
Yeah, me too. They got a lot of really cool stuff. I mean, that's why I said.
Well, that tool for the truck bearings, right? That you stick in the axle. I mean, that thing's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never even knew that existed.
Right.
Yeah, now I know.
Track alignment gauges too.
Well, let me see. Let me bring you back up, Thomas, because I can't see what they are. What are those?
These are track alignment gauges. Like here.
Oh, okay.
This is when you're using flex track. You can put this in like for the curves. This is 18 radius. I got another one here, 22. I think one's 22 or 20 gauge, 20 inch. Different sizes. And then there's one for the straights if you want to make your flex track straight. So that all came with from the same place. So I'm trying to think.
What is now? I don't know, Jack. I don't know what is true scale. Will anyone be using or willing to try true scale? I have no idea what that is.
True scale.
Does anybody know what true scale Jack's talking about?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
Isn't that what they call the like the 187 scale?
I don't know.
Micro Mark. Yeah. I had their catalog, but I don't know what happened to it.
I ended up buying one of their cheap static grass applicator. That was like a tea strainer. And I found that worked pretty well. And I only paid $30 for it, I think it was at the time.
I don't know how much they were. Let's see. I got my spreadsheet here. I have everything I ordered at one time.
Here, let me take.
You can take me down now.
Yeah.
Let me see. Vendor micro.
Oh, okay. All right. It sounded familiar, but it wasn't too sure, and I figured Jack would put laser cut wood bed track, where you just add the rail. Okay. I don't know. Me, I'm just lazy. I like to pull it out of the 25 or 24 pack and slam it down. I'm good. Hey, you know, and everybody has a preference of of track, and I was just so in awe with Jake, your layout, and your layout is done with what again,
Easy track.
dude? I'm telling you,
Yeah,
bro.
I remember that. He said that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I would have never ever guessed that you are using that track, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as
As long as it works, that's all that matters.
that's
Yeah.
all that matters, my friend. And I was just so amazed on how good it looked. I just would have never known.
Yeah.
Never known.
It gets a bad rap for sure. And I certainly some of the switches and the turnouts they don't operate as great as some of the others, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anything in model railroading, you can tweak it and fix it.
Right.
And nothing's
Well, that's the thing with me. I started learning stop ripping out my when a switch went bad, stop ripping it out. I just learned that I could fix them, and I do. And you know, even my Pico Electrofrog switches, every once in a while I have a problem with them. I don't rip them out anymore. I just know how to fix them so they'll be electrically sound. And like I said, what you see on my layout going around in a circle, they're hitting at least, you know, 8 or 9 switches on each side. And you don't see my trains skip a beat. That's because I've learned over years, you don't have to rip out your switches. You don't. You can electrically fix them. You just kind of need to put a little time into researching and, you know, so.
There's one coming. I hear him. I don't know where he's at. I don't know which direction he's coming from, but it sounds like they're northbound.
Okay.
It sounds like he may be at Mammoth, but I can't tell because it sounds like there's one coming from the south, one coming from the north, I mean. So there may be one coming in each direction.
Jack says, stop being lazy.
I hear that about.
I'm king to being lazy, especially after a 12-hour work shift, and the only thing I like doing is coming home and listening to my trains. But Jason as well, is starting to do his own tracks. So I think that's great. If anybody wants to learn how to do that, I hands up. I think that's the greatest thing is doing hand laid track, especially the switches. I think that's awesome.
But sometimes, I think it's this one here. I think it is. Yeah, it is this one here. Sometimes it's a bit hard to fix track when you put a drill through it.
Now, you know what I saw down the other day, and I couldn't get a picture of it. I just couldn't get it. I actually saw switches on the Class 1 railroads that were already made, and they were on a specified a rail car. I know that they do that, but actually seeing it is in person is quite amazing. So I guess they don't hand lay the rails down in some instances. They're already made, and they just put them in. That's kind of amazing.
Over here, what they do is because they're too large, they usually make them up in components, and then they make the switches up on the side of the track. And when we have the rail shutdowns, they just put it into place then. We've actually got 2 in place up the road here at Unanderra Station, where they replacing some turnouts with a high-speed turnouts for the new double-deckers that were supposed to be coming into place. Yeah, so you don't rush your track work. You always take your time. I'm going to be cheating a little bit with my curves. I found out these. I'll see what they're like first. But Atlas is
here comes the northbound.
Okay,
and
let
he's
me
not stopping from the looks of it.
Okay, let's see what you got there, Randall. We'll put you up.
Yeah, he's coming. They're not stopping.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can. Yeah, I see the lights. Not yet, but oh, there he goes. Cool. We got a live train on a live stream.
Double stack.
Yeah. Are those double stacked or single stacked?
Well, those are
They're
single.
double stack wells, but they've only got single stacks on them.
Okay.
But I saw one double.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek says,
I had an engineer tell me they ran the whole gauntlet of the Thayer subdivision one time in 9 hours, 30 minutes. I asked him, I said, how long ago was that? And he said, that was a long time ago. He said, that was back before PTC.
Oh, there you go. There's double stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of the last streams we actually caught a couple trains. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the load, meet, and empty, the coal trains.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Double stacks, that's cute. What what they've been doing over here, they've been trialing triple stacks over here. But there's only one region where they do that, and it's going up along the Nullarbor from Port Augusta to Kalgoorlie. Then they take the third layer off and put it on the train. They're just finding it's a lot more convenient to send more containers across like that than doing them double stack.
I just saw Derek's comment. They must have non-sound decoders.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a microphone on my phone, so it makes it kind of hard to hear anything, but there went the end of it.
Yep, there went the end of it. That's cool, Randall. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'd say they're slowing down. So, oh, wow, they're almost stopping. So they're going to tie down at 2 Mile, I guess.
Yeah.
So there must be a southbounder, southbounder coming. So,
well, Randall,
yeah.
I mean, I think one of these times we can get enough people here in chat to cheer you on to run across the rails and catch one.
Yeah,
that might be really hazardous to my job security. So
we want you to jump on a boxcar. There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would get me fired if I did that. So, and I would kind of like to keep my job if I can.
I'll lend you one of my masks for you.
There you go. You know we're just kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Randall, I'll lend you one of my masks that looks like someone else, and you can get away and just blame it on them.
What kind of mask have you got there, Artie? I'm curious.
Which one do you want?
Well, I need to know what options
many
there
masks. Yeah.
I mean, is it a mask of you, or
well, you
is
got
it
the clown mask?
Rick Bailey, or who is it?
I still got this one. They won't know it's you. I've got a gorilla mask, and they can always say it was me.
Yeah, it almost looks like the Terrifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wear that driving down the road. Look like Jason Voorhees driving a rail van.
Right on. Well, like I said, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool that we can. You're sitting in the yard and you can actually catch a train going by. That I think that's just awesome. And I really thank you.
And it's not every time that this happens that we can catch a train, but there is something coming south because I see he's already lit green.
Nice.
So I'm looking at the signals down here. I'll try to show you, but the signal's right down there, right where that small window is. It may be hard to see him, but it's basically right straight down there. So
I think I see a green light.
yeah, the inside track, which the Z train just went through, is on track 2, and main 1's lit green. So we'll see what comes here in a little bit.
So Derek says, Randall, would they mind if you set up a tripod with a camera by the tracks while you were sitting in the yard?
I've got some buddies that does that. You can't get just real close. They don't really like it if you get too close. But like probably just right beside where I'm sitting down here, they could. Yeah, you could probably do that. Because like I said, my buddy Wesley Mates from the Mall Railroad Club, he actually sets up a tripod here, him and his uncle. So I don't have my tall tripod with me, but
Edward says, Happy Valley says, have your co-host do it, Randall. She is more nimble than you.
that is true.
I believe she would. Her and her partner in crime. Yeah,
her and Caitlin, or as she likes to call herself, Evil Dora. So
yes, yeah, yes. How funny.
Those two are a pair.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're looking at, the new quiet trains now. That's a thing of the future to keep the noise emissions down, I gather.
Yeah.
For when they run into LA and that.
What do you mean they're already
Well, we don't hear no sand coming out of them, so it means that they're the new quiet engines, so they meet the noise EPA conditions.
The Tier 4s are really quiet. I've often said this truck I'm sitting in is louder than they are. So,
yeah.
So Randall, Jack says M1 and M2, 10 M2 sighting. I don't know what that means. Maybe you might know.
Okay, M1 is main 1 and M2 is main 2. The way they've got the yard laid out here, I would assume. Now, don't hold me to this because, like I said, I don't know how BNSF classifies their tracks here in the yard. It's possible the part where it says siding is track 3, and that's where they park their shorter trains. Usually, a train that could fit in here would have to be less than. It would have to be less than 5,000 feet long to fit in this yard. So this is not a big yard by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
Most of the trains that they park in here are in the 2,500 to about 40, let's say 4,200 foot range. Oh yeah, there's something coming. I hear them now over at 2 Mile. So.
Jack's asking, does anyone know what type of motor the Skull Trains are using?
I don't.
I don't either.
Randall, do you know what kind of motors that Skell Trains are using?
I don't know. I think it's their own in-house brand. Because they did the kind of the behind the scenes video. I don't know if you've ever seen that one or not, Daryl, but where they kind of showed how their locomotives were made. I believe it's their own in-house motor. At least the way Shane Wilson was talking.
Okay.
So, because they actually show the process of them winding the commentators and all that stuff. For them.
Interesting.
The only engine I have that can match that Scale Trains Tier 4 that I was telling you about is the Athearn Genesis 2.0 SD70 ACU. That's the only other engine I know for a fact can pull the 64 car train that Tier 4 did. Now, I haven't been able to push the ES44s that Scale Trains has because, like I said, we had just so many issues keeping that train hanging together. So we really weren't able to push that engine to its max. I know we got it up to 54 cars and it was pulling them like it was nothing. So
yeah.
So,
well, Jack Shack says, well, they look like the ones from Intermountain. I don't know. I've never pulled one apart, but I do own quite a few Intermountains as well. And they're relatively, when I pull them out of the box and when I consist them, if I want to consist the Intermountain, usually they're pretty close together. So I don't know, Jack. That could be true. I
don't know. It could be, but everything I saw from that video, it Scale Trains' own motor. It's their own design. So, you know.
Good night, Jason. Take care, buddy.
Good night, Jason. Thank you, buddy.
I believe the manufacturer that we got here in Australia, Precision Model Railways, I believe they are using the same motor as what I'm seeing out of Scale Trains and Athearn Genesis at the moment.
Hey, White Walls, George, how you doing, buddy?
Probably all made in Japan.
Yeah. They make pretty good motors out of Japan. What they call them? A Shami or something?
Yeah.
Hey, gentlemen,
keep makes a good motor.
Gentlemen, keep up the chat for just a few
yeah,
minutes.
Sure.
I'm going to keep you. Actually, I'm going to take down Derek's one and just chat among yourselves for a few.
Okay, we can talk about you. Good.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, because I know that the guys over here working on a little track motor at the moment that be ideal for passenger cars like the EMUs and the DMUs, where say like the Bud cars, you can have the full interior, but the motors are actually sitting underneath. I'm waiting for those cars to come in and see what they will pull like. But what is it? Masami Motors, Masami, or I can't think of the name of it. I mean,
the one thing I was just going to say, the one thing I'm interested in is when Scale Trains finally does start releasing the XMTH locomotives. Because they're going to redo all the guts of those engines to Scale Train specs. The frame and the body work and everything, I think, is supposed to stay the same. But that's going to be kind of interesting to see that those models with the Scale Trains motor and the ESU Look Sound 5 in them. So I'm very intrigued to see what that's going to be like.
The only dramas that I've had with my MTH locomotives that I did have is the sound decoders. That's the only drama I had with my MTH engines. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them here. That's the only thing that I find with them. The sound when you get up to maximum rev up to a certain period of time, it actually sounds like a steam engine at the end of the day. At the end of it, it's like there's a corrupted sound file or something in it. I sent two of them back to get repaired for warranty, and they sent it back to the new Decoder. I haven't had problems since. But once they fail, I'm just going to replace it with the Tsunami 2 decoders.
I haven't had any problems. My scale trains engines decoder wise. The very first scale trains rivet counter engine I bought was sound, which would be the BNSF 3911. I think the speakers are starting to go bad. At least one of the speakers is starting to go bad in that engine because you can hear a lot of static in it when it runs. Now, when you run it for a while, the static likes to go away.
Yeah.
And it runs just fine. But it may, I don't know, it could be a sign the speakers may be fixing to go bad in it. But if it does, I may try those scale sound solution speakers in it, like I've been seeing advertised in various videos. Those things sound pretty good. So
I got some ESU. Okay, I know they're old ones, the lock sound ones. 3.5 version, 4 versions. Particular 4 versions, they seem to lose their sound memory in the chip.
see, mine hasn't done that.
Yeah, I've had a fair
Of
few
course, I
of
got
mine.
the 4 version, so.
And what makes it worse now, I don't have the program where I can reload or upload the sound files for those particular engines.
Yeah, Derek, that's going to be something else to watch out for because scale trains actually wound up with the entirety of MTH's HO scale tooling, from what I gather. So they have a lot of the early diesels and their steam equipment. Because Shane has mentioned 4449 and 4014, which would be the big boy and the daylight, by name. And the interview I watched, those are most likely to be among the first 2 engines, steam engines released by scale trains under the XMTH brand, or whatever they're going to intend to call it.
Good night, Ronald. Thank you, Santa Fe, Bob. Good night.
And the one thing that he did mention was they will not be under the rivet counter brand when they're released.
No, I already got my one big boy. I wouldn't mind a couple of more of the Alleghenies, though. That's 2 engines I wouldn't mind. I've got one old Riverossi that's been redone, running with an with a Soundtrax decoder in the tender. They've done a good job in fixing that one up, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a couple of ones.
Yeah, in fact, Daryl, I guess I'm a moderator on your stream, ain't I? I mean, I'm in blue with the wrench.
I believe you are.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can put a link to that interview on there for you guys to check out. So let me see if I can find it out here.
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. But no, that's not where I was. I had to take my dog out. He wants to play ball. So I took him out in the back and played ball with him a little bit.
Okay.
See my dog? That's what he's doing, wants to do.
I see that, Thomas. I see that. Is he a black lab?
Yeah.
Yeah. The black labs are like that. Mine is mine's partially black lab and German Shepherd. So the same thing. Just absolutely just wants love and just wants to be around you all the time.
Yep. He's 2 years old.
Yeah.
Still a pup.
Yeah. They're puppies for 5 years.
Oh. My
Okay.
goal is 7. He's still a puppy. So
You got one coming there, Randall? Or
Yeah, I think I've got it in the chat now, Daryl.
Okay.
I'll look and make sure. I don't know if is it showing up on there in the chat?
I don't see
No, I've got it here. I'll paste it up there for you.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Thank you, Artie.
All right. Yeah, that's the interview he did at Drew at Nordell did with Shane Wilson, and in that interview he basically kind of went through what to kind of expect with the XMTH locomotives. So if you haven't seen that one, it's a pretty good watch. So
the only MTH engine I would like to get my hands on to again is a demonstrator version with the charging lights on the side, the green engine.
mm-hmm.
I'd like to get a replacement for the one that got stolen from me. I'd like to get another one of them because the stolen one hasn't showed up yet.
Yeah, Derek, not tonight. I think the pink ball is stuck underneath the layout somewhere. My dog's got so many balls, but I think he favors blue. I don't know why that is.
They're colorblind, you know.
right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, dogs are colorblind. They can't see color. That's why they always say, why do you have dog food that has all different colors in it? Because the dogs can't see it. It's just appealing to the owners. That's it.
Yeah, no. I mean,
it's got to be a scent in the ball that he smells. That's what it is.
Yeah. So
all we're gonna see one day is big earthquake in Daryl's place. The whole layout's just going to go shaking like this, and it's not the Andrea's fault. It's the dog looking for the ball.
Yeah, no, this is already, my layout's already gone through 2 small quakes, nothing larger than a 5. The only problem that I had, the last one that I had, was my lift outs, because the one that I have is 4.5 feet long. That one got a little disaligned a little bit, but just because I'm a fix-it kind of guy, I was able to make it work, and it's fine now. Yeah, no, that's a problem here in California. I've always thought about it, especially with the lift outs. If I have a major earthquake, well, it doesn't really matter. I mean,
You're not going to be worrying about the layout.
Yeah, I'm definitely not worried about the layout. I'm more worried about my 400-gallon reef aquarium sitting in my living room.
You got to be worried about yourself more than that.
Well, yeah, that too, but
like your family. That's what you got to worry about. All material things can be replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just, it's cooled down a little bit now, but by the time the track that I've got ordered that's coming, by the time it arrives here, it's going to be warm enough for me to continue with laying down the track. And I tell you what, doing it when it's really hot in this room pays off big time. Because when I laid the bottom layer down here, I'd done it when it was really hot in this room, and I have not had that those kinks that you get in the tracks when you with the heat expansion of the railroad tracks. You get the kinks out of the heat from the heat.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't get any of that, so
Yeah. Good night,
I'm
Jack.
getting a bit. Night, Jack.
Yeah, I do this.
My
Yeah,
train
I do
room
the
is
same.
75 degrees all year round, so I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that.
Yeah. No, if when I lay track in the wintertime, I make sure I take a a paint stripper dryer to it or one of those things, and I'll heat it up and I'll heat it up and then I'll lay the track, because it is true. If you're laying track, if you're laying track in the cold dead of winter, yeah, it's gonna expand big time on you. The best
See, I,
time to lay track is when it's
yeah,
warm.
I just use sectional track.
Yeah.
I go the really old school route, the train set route.
Yeah.
But it
How
works. I mean, I ain't complaining.
Yeah. How about you, Jake? I mean, since you're using the preformed track, I mean, do you have a problem with expansion?
Not really. No. I don't have any ties popping out or anything like that. I've heard that happen with some flex track.
Right. Yeah.
I more or less, for me, I mean, bench work's important, but I'll notice a little bit with the bench work. But nothing that does anything to performance. So
Okay. Yeah, because
Just
like I
say-
said, yeah, when I lay my track, I make sure, look, in every if I'm running a straight line, I will put 3 pieces of 36-inch. I'll weld them together, but on each end I will leave a gap on each end of those for expansion.
You take
And,
several ties out, right?
What's that?
You say you take several ties out.
Yeah.
Track.
No. Well, yeah, I take ties out anyways when I put the rail joiners in. But what I'm saying is if I'm laying a curve, I do one piece at a time. I will, and wherever I start that curve from, I automatically gap that end. I'll gap it, and then the rest of the pieces that are going into the curve, I will weld those together. Okay, and I'll keep going until I finish. They'll all be welded until I get to a straighter part. That's where I will gap that on a radius. Same thing as a straightaway. I will weld like 3 sticks together of track, but on each end, I will gap each end of it because I get extreme heat. I get very extreme heat in this garage, and it will get very cold in this garage. Okay, you guys are going to laugh. Okay, extreme cold here in California, it's 40 degrees. Okay. I know you guys are going to laugh at that. The extreme
Glad
cold.
you don't have our extreme cold, Daryl.
Yeah, no. And I know that's not extreme cold. Okay.
40 below. How's that?
That would be on the other side of Russia.
Yeah, we don't get that extreme.
Yeah, no. And like I said, I've had the 4 months here. That's why I've streamed from one area. I can't do anything in my garage. That's why I started putting out railfan videos, because I got nothing else going on because it's so damn hot in the garage. Yeah, I could stick an air conditioner in here, but that's just an extra cost. And besides, when I'm done with a 10, 12-hour day, I just want to be in the air conditioning and relax.
Well, if you have an air conditioner in your training room, you'll be able to relax in there.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a room for an air conditioner here until I finish doing the layout. So
yeah. And Artie, you're going to start getting into warmer season, correct?
Yeah, we are. Well, if we get it.
If you
see our most extreme here, it's very similar to LA out in California. I mean, we'll get up to 100, 110 degrees Fahrenheit over here too during our summer days. And even though my room is at the back of the house, so I don't get the direct sun during the day, but when the sun comes around on the wall that I'm facing now, it gets the afternoon heat. and it gets very hot in here. But in winter time, it gets down here again, like California, it gets on average in its 40s, but it does get down to below 40 to about 35 degrees Celsius. So it gets very cold in here too. So we got one extreme to another. And I'll set the camera up. I haven't nailed the track down, but when I put the track on the top layer, I'm already seeing a gap that's actually developed from how much of a gap you get from a hot day to a cold day.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really, really is.
I'll just come off screen. I'll come off screen for a minute and I'll try to get the camera up onto it.
Okay, so Derek says after the big one hit, it'll be much more convenient for the kitchen and the garage next to each other. Are you east or west of the San Andreas Fault? I am actually, I'm west of the San Andreas Fault. West. I'm in a suburb of Los Angeles. So actually, it's called the San Gabriel Valley. So yeah, we get earthquakes all the time. I mean, we get them up very regularly. So yeah, but I got to tell you guys, I would much rather live through an earthquake than I would what Florida went through. I mean, you know it's coming. An earthquake, you don't know it's coming. You just don't. But with an earthquake, I mean, it just depends on where the epicenter hits, because everything else will be okay. It's just where the epicenter is. It's just a matter of the grade.
Earthquakes now, they can tell when they're going to come.
Yeah, but it's
not an exact science yet, but they're working on it.
Yeah.
Same thing with tornadoes, they're still working on getting that done too.
Yeah. So yeah, I just feel so bad for those people in Florida. It's just the devastation is just unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe how it took ships and threw them, hundreds and hundreds of feet up on shore. It's just amazing. An earthquake, it doesn't do that. Whatever is standing, and it's got to be a pretty big earthquake to knock things down. But yeah. Let's see here.
Well, I can't get the camera close enough.
Oh, okay, Artie. Yeah, I know you guys would have got a kick out of me saying 40 degrees here in Southern California is extremely cold, because I know on the East Coast, I mean, you guys hit below zero. I have family who lives in New York and Pennsylvania, and yeah, no, I know what cold is. Actually,
what part?
I have Big Bear, Lake Big Bear up here, and it gets extremely cold up there.
Yeah.
It'll get below zero up there.
Is that in Potter County?
Excuse me?
Is that in Potter County?
No, San Bernardino Mountains.
No. I mean, people in Pennsylvania.
Actually, at Scranton.
Oh, okay.
In Scranton.
That's like an hour from where I live.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I have family that lives in Binghamton, Scranton, in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, New York, New Jersey, in those areas. So, and I had visited when I was a little kid. So I mean, I remember, So, but
see over here, I've gone through. I've been in 8 cyclones up north of this country here, and you know what? To be honest, I actually prefer our system that we've got over here, but the cyclones are all right if everything's done to a certain standard. Like over here, the cyclone is very similar to a hurricane, except for the size. But up north, there's a certain standard where the building's got to must comply with the cyclone standards.
Mm-hmm.
Up there, you know how you got those, like the blue loos and stuff like that you put into the water system in your toilets. You're not allowed to have that in your water system whatsoever up there, because they use that call that backup in case you do lose your water system. But everything's prepared up north. I mean, yes, some buildings get damaged, but not to the severity as what happens in, like what happened in Florida. You don't get that much of a severity of damage. I mean, you have a look at all the houses that are being built around the United States. They're just basically clapboard put together. The amount of homes are made up in a week and bolt together. They won't withstand anything.
Look, if nobody, you know, I'm sure there's I think Steve 87th. I think he's in a little bit of earthquake country too. But I can just tell you, if you've never experienced an earthquake, I'm telling you, for the first time, it's pretty scary. It's hard to explain because it's just really weird. And some of them you can actually hear coming. You can actually hear it coming before it actually hits you, because you can hear the ground rumbling. And then just as far as that goes, I mean, it's just scary. Earthquakes are scary. I mean, I'm not trying to say that, you know, anyone's worse than the other, but you know, I'm just used to it, you know. So
earthquakes, yeah, you're right. Like when I used to go to Japan a lot, especially in Osaka.
Right.
The scary part about hearing and being in earthquakes over there is when you're on a multi-level high-rise building and you hear the rumbling coming. It's like, oh shit! How many stories up from the ground?
Yeah.
You gotta go down a flight of steps in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
That's what I had to do in 1989. I told you guys I was in California when the one in 89 hit. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one that Steve 87th Peace Out says, you know, that one, when they had that big, huge earthquake, it was the tsunami that actually did probably more damage than anything else. It was just amazing. I watched video after video on that. Yeah, the earthquake was bad enough, but it's like putting salt on a wound. I mean, it just the tsunami just came in and just sucked everything up and pushed it miles and miles and miles inland. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, so that's one thing that we worry about out here, but I think it's more the San Andreas fault more than anything, and we're due for one. We're due for a big one. So actually, California might drop off in the ocean. So anybody who has property on the border of Arizona, Nevada, will probably have waterfront property. Jeez.
Well, they keep saying we're due for one here with the New Madrid fault, but so far it ain't happened. Thankfully, knock on wood. But
yeah,
we had not so much here. I mean, that's I don't think you guys, for American standard or LA standard and Japan standard, it's only a tremor, but we've had one down near Melbourne probably about 4 weeks ago down there, further down south. We haven't had, apart from that, we haven't had one for a while either. We do get tremors. I mean, it's part of Mother Nature. It's part of our planet. Everything moves.
Well, yeah, the Earth is constantly doing stuff underneath the surface that we don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but tsunami wise, we're pretty safe here. Because we've got the continental shelf just off the coast here. And any tsunami that comes up and comes towards us, that shelf actually breaks the size of it down. It actually kills the size of the tsunami. Like we had the ones that came from, we had that earthquake just offshore here near New Zealand a few months back, or even that big Christmas Day tsunami and the one from Japan. Yes, we got the waves from it. It wasn't high, but the force of the water, we did get the force of the water and did create a lot of erosion. That's funny when you get people get told, don't go to the beaches, but they all go up and have a look for it, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I lived in Key West, 7 miles out, there was a natural coral reef. It was like it was the third biggest one in the world out there. And we never got any waves on the beaches at all, you know. And even when hurricanes came, the waves didn't, the island was only 2 miles by 4 miles. A wave would wipe out the whole island, but we never had waves.
Mm.
Yeah.
New Madrid.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, it's been a great stream. I think we're gonna cut this. It's been 3 hours plus. I can't
Wish
believe
we
it's
could cut that southbounder, Daryl, but apparently they're either still a good ways out or something. But maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. I really enjoyed
Probably
that.
hit a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's
Yeah.
kangaroos here, we got issues, Artie.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It escaped from the Jacksonville Zoo.
That's more like it.
Yeah,
He
no.
may have hit the trick if he escaped from there.
We had 4 lions escape from the Sydney Zoo yesterday. We had 4 lions escape from there yesterday. North Sydney went in a total lockdown.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys, I'm going to cut it. I've been at 3 hours. I can't believe it's already been 3 hours already. So
time flies when you're having fun.
Yep.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'm glad, I'm glad we get a little bit out of train talking about, but for the most part, it's been pretty much train talk. And I think that's the best. I really, really do. So I want to appreciate, I thank you all for coming up, the panel.
Yep.
Thomas, Artie, Jake, and Randall. I appreciate you guys. Yep. And thank you. And so again, we will see you all next week. And everyone have a great evening and a good night.
Yep. See you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.
Okay.
Take care.